We are live. We are live, thank God. Welcome back, everybody, to the final whistle. We are doing a live stream, a full 32 round live stream for the NFL tonight. I am joined by Aberdeen Silvercat, Alan Craig. How are you, Alan?
I'm doing good, Xander. Yourself?
Well, technology can be a silly thing sometimes, but we got there. And I believe the Titans are ready to pick. And I think the consensus opinion is that it should be Cam Ward with first pick, surely.
I think that's kind of where the Titans need to go as far as this particular pick goes. They're a team that needs a quarterback. Cam Ward is far and away the best quarterback in this class. I don't know that he's potentially an elite quarterback, but I think that kind of speaks to most, if not all, the prospects in this class. It's not a Hall of Fame heavy class. It's what I would call more of a Ring of Honor class. So guys that are maybe going to be like franchise heroes, but not legends of the game type of thing.
I think especially when this class compares to last year, it's like there's a massive talent difference compared to last year. And I think even Cam Ward at its best, it's like my pro comp for Cam Ward is Jordan Love. Like a gunslinger mentality. He's got a rocket arm. However, he can spray the football sometimes. Sometimes he can be quite inaccurate. But I do think in the Titans case, Brian Callahan's going to get his quarterback and somebody who could potentially become a top 10 quarterback. However, there are limitations, especially compared to the class last year where you had Drake May, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams, who easily would have gone number one in this class.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think even Bo Nix could have gone top of this group. As far as Cam Ward goes, it's not necessarily the worst situation to be landing in, I don't think, if this is what the Titans are going to do. He does have weapons there. Calvin Ridley. They've got Treylon Burks, former first-round pick.
I believe they just signed Tyler Lockett.
I was just about to say they picked up Tyler Lockett as well. And Tony Pollard's no slouch in the backfield either. So they've got weapons that Ward can use right away. The question is he going to get the chance to use them because the offensive line can be questionable, particularly after they whiffed on last year's first-round pick with J.C. Latham?
I don't think JC Latham's that bad. I think he's got some potential. And I think under the coaching of Bill Callahan, who's regarded as one of the best offensive line coaches in the league, I do think JC Latham could reach his potential. And then you have the signing of Kevin Zeitler from Detroit, who is a solid guard when he's healthy.
The question with Zeitler, of course, is can he stay healthy, and also the fact that he is in the back nine of his career at this point.
That's true, and I believe they also overpaid Dan Moore to a large contract from the Steelers. I believe it was like 4 years, $80 million for a subpar left tackle. But at that point, it's like, I mean, they don't really have a choice with left tackles, and if a left tackle is good, they're staying with the team they were drafted with most of their career. However, I do believe that Cam Ward is a way to be selected with the first pick.
Let's see what Commish has to say.
Too much talking for me, like from Goodell. It's the same every year.
I don't really need to know the attendance numbers, but I think he's about to put the Titans on the clock.
I think the Titans are putting their picks right away, surely. Unless there's a shock trade coming at 1.
They'll take their time and evaluate what they want to do. I mean, obviously, at the top end of the draft, it's one of those, like, I can never quite understand why they've got a 15-minute shot clock on this.
Yeah.
Because the teams at the top of the draft have had months to look at the prospects that they want. If it comes like, in the last 15 minutes, you've done the job wrong at this point.
Yeah. I think the consensus is Ward, Hunter, then Carter.
Yeah, I think that is.
However, I've seen the Browns are.
It's going to be fluid tonight.
I think I saw the Browns were open to trades potentially for whoever would come up for Hunter.
The Giants could be going up and down as well.
I think if the Browns are smart, the Browns should basically pick Hunter and then trade back into the first round and take Sanders, and then let Sanders basically develop for a year.
Yeah, I think the spot to look for, I think, for as far as teams trading back into the first round, I think 24 Minnesota is where you want to look. Vikes have only got 4 picks in this draft. They may be persuaded to trade down to pick up a couple more
Is this the
options
Vikings?
later in the draft. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I've seen they do have only 4 picks, and I do think it would make sense for them to trade back and recoup some draft value. But
I think the teams that you can look at to trade down would be probably the Seahawks, Broncos, the Vikings, and depending on how things flow out, the Chiefs could potentially step out of the first round as well. If the if the tackle prospects are off the board and there's nobody that's going to be sort of plug and play, I think they might
no,
stand pat. Having invested a second rounder last year in Kingsley Sumatea, but it's going to be an interesting watch tonight.
I think Sue Matea should be kicked into guard and then draft a tackle. But here we go. Is it going to be Cam Ward at 1? I would assume so. It's the safest.
Yeah. 10 minutes on the clock. Yeah, I think this will be Ward. Certainly, there's not a lot of energy in that draft room right now, so they're pretty comfortable with what they're doing.
I mean, it's the assumption that Ward will go 1, but at the end of the day, it's like it's the draft. It's like you never know what to expect. It's like I don't think anybody had Penix go to the Falcons at 8 last year.
But I mean, every draft has that. That moment that has the entire kind of the entire football world just going, "Whoa, what just happened?"
Could the Saints be a Sanders team? Maybe.
It depends. For the Saints, I think it depends if they really like one of the quarterbacks that's not Cam Ward.
I think if Sanders was in last year's draft, he would have been second, third round, maybe.
Yeah,
at most.
I think that's right. But I mean, he's not a high end athlete, but he's an accurate thrower.
Yeah.
I guess for Sanders, I do scheme fit.
Yeah,
I think if he fits your scheme, he could be really good.
I think he'd be good like a Shanahan.
To get on his feet.
I agree.
So he needs to go somewhere where there's a strong offensive line and pass catchers that can actually go up and fight for the ball.
Yeah,
because he's not
it's easy.
Star either.
It's easy to quarterback when you have Travis Hunter in your offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially at a school like Colorado as well, where it's like the expectations weren't as high until Deion Sanders came in.
And that's where I have a problem with him landing with New Orleans is that roster is a work in progress, to say the least. The Saints keep pulling off these cap gymnastics where every year they're just squeezing under the cap.
Yeah.
But every year they manage to lose talent and get worse despite of that. So
I think
you're asking the question.
They keep on pushing the cap back.
Yeah, so you have to ask the question: what are they spending all this cap on? And
I believe they're still paying off Drew Brees' contract, which is pretty crazy considering he retired 2 years ago.
I mean, he's out. 4 years ago. He's eligible for the Hall of Fame next year.
It's mental. The fact this Titans pick still isn't in is a bit suspicious for me.
They're just going to take their time and just weigh everything up. I mean, if you look at some of the additions that they've made, just kind of rolling through. Guys like Tyler Lockett, they've added Johnny Hecker at punter, Joey Sly's their new kicker, they've added Lorenzo Carter at linebacker as well. They've added talent in Tennessee.
Yeah.
So
And they brought in Legarius Sneed last year for the defense as well. I'm surprised he lost his form, to be honest, if you considering the run he was on in that 23 season. But
I think he benefited a lot from having Trent McDuffie on the other side.
yeah, it's much easier when you have two elite corners instead of one that has to
And
carry the work.
and a defensive coordinator like Steve Spagnuolo as well. Somebody who, I mean, Spagnuolo's now won more rings as a coordinator than any other coordinator in history.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy.
But yeah, the Titans I
I
think have enough.
believe I believe Callahan is on the call just now. So
Yeah, it looks like that pick's going in pretty quickly. Here's one for you. Do you think the Titans could go last to first in division?
the Titans last to first. You know what? I mean, you have the Texans, who I think they'll be good, but I just don't
It's tough.
see how they could be an elite team.
It's
I
tough
think
to,
that's
tough to know where CJ Stroud is at the moment. He had that incredible rookie season and then seemed to just regress last year. I don't know if
yeah.
that was something to
But
do
in
with
all
his weapons
fairness,
falling away and then the offensive line
his
injuries and things like that. But
his offensive line and his weapons were depleted of talent at the end
yeah,
of the day. But I mean, it's a tough one. And then you have the Colts, who have Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson. So I'm not sure how good they're going to be.
yeah, I don't see that being competitive. I just don't think
I think the Jags
Colts
could
have
be a
got
quite.
talent in this.
I
And
think I think you have Trevor Lawrence for the Jags. You have Brian Thomas Jr. You have Liam Cohen, who's a proven coordinator at least with the Bucks. And then you have all this talk about potentially Ashton Genty at 5, maybe. You know, so it's I think the Jaguars could maybe make a push for that division next year. But it should be interesting. I do think that the pick is in.
yeah,
Yeah, surely it's got to be Cam Ward. Yeah, but I think the Titans could maybe push for second. I don't think they'll win it because you do have the Texans. The Jaguars are up and coming once again. However, I do think the Titans have a much brighter future compared to where they were, say, 2 years ago. You know,
yeah. I think when they sacked Vrabel after falling off, it looked like they were going to have to go into the tank and just go for a serious rebuild. And I think they have done that. Um, I wouldn't necessarily say they're not a playoff contender if they can't win the division, but there are a lot of strong teams in the
yeah.
AFC.
I
The
think with the
AFC.
AFC, it's like the AFC. You'll have, say, Chiefs, Jaguars, Ravens, and uh, Bills as division winners, and then you'll have the Bengals, the Texans, potentially the Patriots. Maybe I'm not trying to be biased, but I mean maybe sneaking up, and then you also have the Chargers. You have the Broncos. It's going to be a competitive race for the playoffs, and
Yeah,
it'll just be a tough one for Tennessee to try sneak in there. And their
there's
coach
not
only
going
is
to be
their second
there's not
year.
an easy game in the AFC anymore. There are no easy
Yeah,
games in the AFC. Expect it
Roger
this year.
Goodell is now walking out onto the stage.
But hey, no surprises here. It is Cam Ward.
I was going to say, there you go,
I
confirmed.
think I'm about 10 seconds ahead of you on the stream here.
I think that's a good move for Tennessee in the long run, because I think if
Yeah.
you look at next year's draft as well, it's like there's not a lot of options. I mean, you have Arch Manning, but I don't think the Titans will be that bad next year to get Arch Manning, and that's even if he declares.
You said earlier that you had Jordan Love as his pro comparison. I've got him a little
I
bit further. I'm a little bit further back.
You're further
I think
back. Wow.
I think it's the last time the Titans took a quarterback this high in a draft when they went number 3 overall for Steve McNair.
Who did they take?
Steve McNair, Cam Ward. I think there's a lot of shades of Steve McNair in his play, and now he's landed on the same team.
So that's interesting. But you know what? I think with all my comparisons, it's like my comparisons are the best case scenario. So it's like I have Jordan Love, and then I don't want to overrate him, but I have shades of Justin Herbert in there, in his playmaking ability, you know,
A little bit.
and the rocket arm, which is there to be fair.
Yeah.
But I think the consensus pick was the Titans at 1. However, I'm really interested to see what the Browns do at 2, because I think that's where the draft really starts, is at the second pick. Because I don't know if the Browns are going to trade out or if they're going to stick and pick with Carter or Hunter, you know.
Well, it looks to me... Oh, the Jags have got up to 2. Jags have come up to 2.
The Giants.
The Jags. Jacksonville are up at 2 now.
Oh, mate, my draft is behind.
Have said 2 overall. 4. They've received 2, 104 and 200 for 536, 126, and they're 2026 first. That's a good.
It's heating up already. It's heating up. I'm gonna have to change my thing here.
I think Jacksonville here is surely. Surely this corner. Travis Hunter opposite Brian Thomas.
Wow. That's spicy. That's very spicy. That is like the first shake-up of the draft so far.
Now, we discussed this earlier in the week, and I was saying 5 or 6 trades in this draft. I might have underestimated here.
This is heating up. Surely it's got to be Travis Hunter, because it's like their defense is too full.
The thing I think about here is both of these teams, the Jaguars and the Giants, took elite wide receivers in last year's draft in the first round. Jags got Brian Thomas, and the Giants got Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
If you paired Travis Hunter across from either of them,
it would be ridiculous.
Very difficult to defend.
Oh, that really stirs it up, doesn't it? Who are the Browns going to go at 5? Who are the Browns going to go at 5? It's like it's just completely shaking it up.
I think the Browns at 5 could still end up being Mason Graham at 5.
I could see that pairing Mason Graham with Myles Garrett. I could potentially see that, and I don't think it would be a bad fit either.
Yeah, they could have gone Abdul Carter in this spot, but obviously they've now picked up an additional first rounder next year, which, if the Jags have another bad year, is going to be a top 5 pick. You package that up, you go to 1, you get the quarterback that you want to be able to compete for the future. Or,
I think if
go to number 1 and blow the pick, as the Browns will do every single time.
Always. I think if Trevor Lawrence can't succeed with Travis Hunter, or presumably Travis Hunter, and Brian Thomas Jr., I think you have to start asking questions on how good he'll be in the long run.
I know we haven't discussed Abdul Carter in this spot, and edge is a need for the Jaguars spot. With an offensive-minded head coach like Liam Cohen coming in, he's going to want an offensive weapon to make a statement. And in addition to Travis Hunter, the wide receiver, they'll also receive Travis Hunter, the defensive back. So
I agree with you.
You could play him in sort of nickel and dime sets as a defensive back, because he does want to go both. He does want to play in both directions.
I think Cohen's going to want to try and replicate his scheme that he had in Tampa with Evans and Godwin, with Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, presumably, where Brian Thomas Jr. as the outside deep threat, and then you can play Hunter in the slot kind of, and then you can also play him on defense as well. Because I would assume it's Hunter here, unless they just shock us and maybe take.
Well, how we can see Jacksonville lining that offense up would be, obviously you've got Travis Etienne in the backfield. You can then run Brian Thomas on one side, Hunter on the other, and then Parker Washington in the slot.
Who's the Jaguars tight end? Is it what's his face?
They lost Evan Ingram in the offseason, but they brought in Hunter Long. So they brought in a couple
I
of
think that could be a
low-budget
good
tight
offense.
ends.
No,
I can see them going tight end tomorrow, second or third round.
I could, or maybe offensive line. You know,
It's not a team that lacks needs at the minute, but
I think regarding I think regarding the discussion earlier. I think regarding the discussion earlier about like who could win the AFC South, I think the Jaguars, if they take Hunter here, will be in it for sure. I'm convinced mine's is behind by a second.
Yeah, yours is about 5 or 6 out of my mind.
And don't go saying anything until I've got mine through, because I think yours is 2 seconds ahead.
Yeah.
While we are here tonight to celebrate the 32 young men entering the NFL, I'm honored to take a moment to recognize a player who's made a profound impact on and off the field. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award, presented by Nationwide, recognizes one player each year who best represents greatness and compassion both on
Eric Armstead.
and in the community. Tonight, we are proudly joined by the 2024 Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Eric Armstead.
Is he going to re-out the pick then, I would assume?
Yeah, I'm guessing.
First off,
Surely got to be Travis Hunter here. Abdul Carter could be a sneaky one.
thank you to the Payton family and the NFL and Nationwide.
They do need an edge rusher, but I just don't see it.
Tonight, I want to encourage each player embarking on the NFL journey to identify a passion close to their heart and act upon it. Use your platform to make your community.
Too much talking for me, like.
Yeah, just get on with it.
Just cut to the chase, like, honestly.
No, really?
Have you gotten it through?
Not yet.
We have a trade.
He's just announcing the trade. I'm like, duh.
Oh.
The Cleveland Browns have traded the second pick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And with the second pick in the 2025
Can't get his words out.
Jacksonville Jaguars select Travis Hunter.
There you go. Wow. Travis Hunter is probably like, thank God I'm not going to be stuck in Cleveland for the next 5 years. What a move. What a move. That is like...
It's a big call. He's going to have to work hard to prove he's going to be worth effectively 2 first-round picks.
Jaguars could be a sneaky team next year. Like, seriously.
Yeah, the Jags have given up a lot to go get him, though. Because that's... That's their first
I think Hunter is
second rounder this year, first rounder next year, and then they gave up other pieces as well. So
yeah.
Hang on, I've got the full list in front of me. So they went up 3 spots, received a 4th and a 6th, and gave up 5 overall, 30. Their second rounder tomorrow, their first rounder next year, and it was so Jacksonville got.
That's quite a big investment.
Overall, a swap of 4th rounders and a 6th rounder for 5 overall, their second rounder and their first rounder next year. It's a lot.
Travis Hunter is probably like, thank God I'm not stuck in Cleveland. He's probably like relieved he's not going to be in Cleveland, seriously.
I imagine, but you're getting thrown the ball by
I think my one concern with Hunter...
Kenny Pickett.
I think my one concern with Hunter is will he be able to manage the workload in the NFL, having to play potentially both ways. It's quite a big push to play both in the NFL.
I do worry at barely over 6 feet and less than 190. He's just a little bit lightweight to take some of those
small,
shots
isn't he?
to take from some of those harder hitting safeties. But
I just wouldn't be surprised if he has injury concerns.
but but he does have an innate feel for the ball. He has
Yeah.
that intangible skill with the ball that you can't teach, where he just seems to know where it's going almost
Yeah.
before it's coming to him.
His tracking ability and his burst on the ball as well. It's just sensational,
Yeah.
you know.
It's one of those where
And I compare that with Brian Thomas
you get the ball
Jr.
straight, he's doing a huge amount of damage.
Yeah. I think pairing that with Brian Thomas Jr. that could be a lethal. That could be a lethal receiving duo. It doesn't matter who's throwing them. It doesn't matter who's throwing them the ball, whether it's Trevor Lawrence this year or a new quarterback 3 years from now. But I do think that could be an elite pairing.
Yeah, you can't double both of them. So you simply can't double both of them. So you then, I mean, the person I think that should gain some fantasy football value out of this is probably Parker Washington.
Yeah.
Whoever the Jags number 3 is going to be seeing one-on-one coverage all the time.
It's a sneaky one. Or Brian Thomas Jr. could just see double coverage. I think a lot of teams are going to play cover 2.
Giants have already picked.
They have?
Yeah, you'll see it in a second. The Giants pick is already in. So this has to be Abdul Carter, isn't it?
Surely. You know what? At least I'll get to bed quicker if they pick their players quicker. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, is there a possibility this could be Shedeur Sanders?
If it is, I'm gonna go crack open a beer because that means Abdul Carter to the Patriots. So,
I mean, Abdul Carter would be a very Mike Vrabel pick if he fell. But I mean, surely. I mean, for me,
sure. I think if they're picking that quickly,
for me, it's a coin toss between Carter and Hunter as the best players the best player in the draft.
I remember there was a time.
Carter, far and away the best defensive player in this group.
I remember there was a time earlier this draft season where it was potentially Carter to the Browns at 2. You know,
I saw mocks that had him going to the Titans at 1 for a while, but this was before free agency when there was talk that Darnold might end up in Tennessee. But yeah, the Giants could definitely use an extra edge rusher in there because you can kick Brian Burns inside, and then you've got a front 4 that would be Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, who is an All-Pro, and Abdul Carter.
I think
it wouldn't matter if the Giants had a quarterback because nobody's going to be able to run through or throw the ball on that 4.
And then you have the corners with Javon Holland as the safety. Then they signed Paulson Adebo as a free agent, who I think is a solid, potentially number 2 corner. And then they have their first rounder, who is still developing in Deontay Banks. Yeah. I mean, that would be a lethal defense for anybody to face. And even if the Giants are just subpar on offense, they could be competitive. Yeah, there you go. Abdul Carter to the Giants at 3.
Shot there. I mean, Carter jumps out on film when you watch
I think
draws the eye, which is a difficult skill. There's not a lot of players in the trenches who can kind of just that you're constantly watching. It reminds me of they've got Von Miller up as a pro comparison. I could definitely get behind that.
I need to go find my notes for Abdul Carter here. It's like I ended up going through like 10 different edge rushers. So you know what? I don't like to scout the helmet, but he reminds me a lot of Micah Parsons coming out. Both two Penn State edge rushers. You know, 2 Penn State edge rushers were number 11. You know, I think he has elite burst and explosiveness. He can drop into coverage. He can rush off the edge. I think he could be a top 5 edge rusher in the next 5 years potentially. And the Giants will be probably jumping in that draft room knowing they'd got Abdul Carter at 3.
Yeah, it didn't take them long to turn that card in, did it? I think this also makes their decision as to whether to pick up Thibodeau's fifth-year option somewhat easier. Given his slightly uneven play overall, they can probably pick up another defensive lineman a little deeper into the draft with Lawrence. But yeah, the Giants both got back on that pick.
I think with the Patriots coming up at 4, it's got to be Will Campbell. Unless the Bears trade up for Ashton Genty, which is possible, it's got to be Will Campbell here at 4.
Here's the wrinkle that we hadn't considered. Obviously, I've said that I still think it's going to be Mason Graham at 5 for Cleveland, and I stand by that. But Kareem Hunt's out of town. Nick Chubb is a shadow of himself after the knee injury. Could the Browns potentially pick Ashton Genty at 5?
I was actually thinking that about 10 minutes ago. That could be sneaky, but I think it could work. It could. I think it would take the workload off of Joe Flacco. I don't know who's starting for them. Maybe Tyler Shook in the second round or Kenny Pickett. It would take the workload off of whoever's playing quarterback.
For me, I think the Browns are going to go with Kenny Pickett right now, depending on the health of Deshaun Watson.
I think it'll be Joe Flacco. I think after, I believe 2 years ago, it's like he had that playoff run. It wasn't really a playoff run, but it was like an end of season run where he won a bunch of games and took the Browns to the playoffs. I think he just has that spirit in him to really excel.
Do you think the Patriots could trade down here if somebody is high enough on Ashton Genty? Because there are a lot of holes that need filling on the roster for the Patriots.
I think the Raiders...
A lot of gaps.
And the Patriots are still on the clock as well. That's the thing. I think potentially the Bears it could be the Bears, it could be the Raiders. I know this could be a sneaky one. It could be the Saints that trade up. Because in Genty's game, I see a lot of Alvin Kamara in Genty's game. Mm-hmm. So, and the reason Kellen Moore excelled in that offense last year was because of Saquon Barkley at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So,
if it's not going to be Will Campbell, who would it be for the Patriots here? They stand pat at 4, but it's not Will Campbell. What do you reckon?
It would be Ashton Genty or Armin Membu. Because the thing is, I think Will Campbell will kick into guard at the end of the day. Because I do think he's a very... Oh, the pick's in. The pick is in.
Oh, yeah. I think there's probably...
You've got Will Campbell, surely.
Do you think this debate about the length of his arms is anything valid at all?
You know what? It's a tough one. Because I think...
I don't necessarily see him as an arm... As a major issue. I think he's got good feet and he operates from a very well balanced platform. He's difficult to...
Yeah, he has a high motor as well.
He's difficult to kind of brush away. He's got good movement skills for an offensive lineman. I think that's what teams are probably going to be looking at more than, your arms are a couple inches shorter than we'd like.
However, I think translating from the college game to the NFL game, there is quite the jump, obviously. And to be fair, I think if he kicked into guard, he could be a top 5 guard in the NFL. I'm not overreacting there. I think he would be better suited. However, if he is at tackle, I think he would still be successful at the end of the day. But I just think if you kick him into guard, there's Joe Tooney, there's Quentin Nelson potential. I'm not being biased. However, I do think it's there. A white offensive lineman out of a big school. I can see it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he's going to be a good player in some role in this league.
I agreed.
Whether that's inside, outside, who knows? I don't ever think that you're drafting a player at 4 to play guard.
As a guard, yeah.
I think that if it works out that way, he becomes an elite guard. Fair enough. If it doesn't work at tackle, you try something else. But you're drafting him to play tackle, and that's where he will start out. Assuming it is obviously Will Campbell.
I would assume it's Will Campbell because apparently Drake May knew about the pick yesterday. That was going to be Will Campbell if he was there. So, well, I thought it could be a sneaky Ashton Genty team because obviously Vrabel's success in Tennessee, a lot of it was because of Derrick Henry.
Yeah, but there aren't a lot of Derrick Henrys out there. Let's be real.
In all fairness, Henry coming out of college wasn't a good prospect.
In the modern NFL, Derrick Henry is a fairly unique item.
Yeah.
To have that size and speed and power all together.
That's fair.
Quite unusual.
I do think the pick here though will be Will Campbell. It's just it's consensus. Drake May apparently already knew about the pick yesterday. If Campbell was going to be there,
for me, after this one is when the interest now starts. Particularly,
I agree with
for Jacksonville coming up. It's now a case of nobody has a clue what's going to happen there.
Hey, Coop, we're about to get the commissioner in less than 20 seconds time. And the Browns, I believe, have selected
36 minutes already. The draft's flying by.
Vegas is now on the clock for the first time in
Yep.
this draft. 9 minutes and counting. So here's the 4th overall.
Oh, it ends at 4:30.
The commissioner is the 6th overall pick, is in the process of being.
That's not bad.
With the 4th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell.
I love that.
Patriots decide to go for
Big lad, nearly 6'6", 320, yeah.
Big guy.
What's your thoughts, Daniel Jeremiah? Of all the teams in this draft, to me,
You know what? I think
Mike Vrabel wants to win games in the trenches, and you need players like Will Campbell if you're going to do that.
I don't think he's the flashiest pick. However,
You don't. Offensive tackle is not a sexy position.
but it's one of the most important.
Yeah.
Easily.
These are the guys that do the dirty work, so everybody else can have their stats and win championships.
Is the group chat going crazy just now? I'm just checking.
No, it's dead and Dorney, actually.
Surprising. He looks smaller. He looks smaller than normal. Maybe it's just the camera doing him dirty, but
Also, the pinstripes are sharp. I like that. As somebody who owns a pinstripe suit, I like that a lot.
you know what? As we both said, it's not the flashiest pick. However, you got to give Drake May protection because I would rather not see him getting concussed. Like Tua, it's like you got to prioritize protection.
It's simple. You can't win games with your quarterback on his back.
And I think even dating back to like October when the first mock drafts were coming out, I remember I was seeing Will Campbell's name pop up as the pick, and it was the same. It was the same all the way through, and even like despite the arm concerns, it was still Will Campbell all the way through the draft process. So I think overall it's a good move. It's not the flashiest move, however, I think it's important.
They've just had a PFF stat flash up on the stream. That is insane.
I just have to hope his game transitions to the NFL.
I think it probably will. I think he could be a starting left tackle for the next decade for the Patriots.
I got to figure out how to get mine's ahead because I think mine's behind.
Depends what you run. You run it on computer.
Yeah, I'm running it off my laptop.
Your name.
Yeah, that's what's fine. I've got mine through the PlayStation.
Let's go fish out my offensive line notes to see what I have to say.
Right.
No, that's my safeties.
Here.
My safeties there.
Where do you reckon Cleveland are going here then?
Oh, he's crying.
The Browns pick is in.
It's in.
Who have they gone then?
Oh, should I chuck a fiver on Ashton Gently? Oh mate, Will Campbell's crying. I'm so happy.
I'm going to stick with Mason Graham because I do think they have a need on the inside of the D line. They need a big run stopper in there, and that's exactly what they'll get from Mason Graham. But this is the Browns, and if there's one thing the Browns know how to do, it is below first round picks. So we shall see.
Who are they going with? This is so sneaky.
I genuinely have no idea where they're going with this. Like I think Mason Graham would be the right decision, but
it could be a Gently team.
It could be Calvin Banks.
I could see Calvin Banks. It wouldn't surprise me. Membu maybe. It would not surprise me. Also, I think your pal was in the comments earlier.
Yeah. Scott's knocking about.
Is it Scott Retro Wrestling?
Yeah.
To be honest with you, I didn't expect a lot of folk to join today because obviously it's quite late. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And NFL is quite a limited. It's like the amount of people who care about the draft around here. It's like. I think it's an Armin Membu or Banks. I could see it. Yeah, my thing's behind by 30 seconds, so no spoiling. That's why I'm not checking. That's why I'm not checking Instagram either. Because I remember last year I found out about the Penix pick like 4 minutes before it happened, and I'm like.
You're even further behind now.
Mason Graham, there you go.
Called it.
Mason Graham's probably crying knowing he has to be in Cleveland for the next 5 years, 10 years.
To be fair, he's going to get his share of sacks because he gets to play alongside Myles Garrett now.
Yeah, it's like Myles Garrett's going to be demanding. Surely Gent eats the Raiders at 6. It's got to be decided.
This is the dream scenario for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Daniel Perry is still on the screen. I love that.
Okay, Jacksonville and Cleveland traded, but this is played out exactly how they expected this would play out. In fact, it's probably played out better because Jacksonville went up because they were never going to take Jenny at 2. So for the Raiders, this is played out perfectly. This should be Ashton Jenny, but it's the Raiders.
Should be. I believe Pete Carroll has really emphasized running the ball. That's like the one thing he demands.
He's going to want a miniature Marshawn Lynch, and that's what he's going to get in Ashton Jenny.
Or it could be now. I've been preaching to Aaron that Armin Membu's a top 10 pick, and he's just like, nah. I don't even know who that guy is. And I'm like, I've been on Armin Membu for 4 months.
My mocks all the mocks I've done have had him at 7 to the Jets.
Yeah. 7 to the Jets or the Saints at 9.
I've kind of, any time I've played around with the mocks, the first 7 have been fairly locked in for me. And it's falling in the exact order that I would have predicted it, even with the trade. So I think Jetty now to the Raiders, Membu to the Jets.
I think Tyler Warren could be a sneaky one for the Jets.
It could be, potentially. But I think that getting a dominant tackle is a higher priority for them because Justin Fields has never been able to play with a high end line. And when he switched to
Justin
Chicago,
Fields.
when Justin Fields did get high end line in Pittsburgh last year, he was probably better than what Russell Wilson ended up being when he took the job. So I think for the Jets, protect Fields first and let him be
Justin Fields has honestly, I can't decide on him. You know, it's like if you're a second receiver, you're not seeing the ball at all because he is a first read and run quarterback. But I do think thing is he likes to run, and the one problem I have with Armin Membu is that he doesn't have a high motor when it comes to running down the sidelines on blocks, and I'm just thinking, could the Jets be a Tyler Warren team? Get Justin Fields a big weapon and say, well, if you can't hit Warren, what's the point? You know.
They could potentially go for a receiver here as well. They could potentially take Ted McMillan or maybe
just the Raiders or the Jets.
This would be the Jets. Raiders have now selected. I mean, surely this is actually genuine.
I think if I'm in that draft room, I would start to overcomplicate it a little bit in how you approach it. You know, it's like there's months and months of hype, and you're just like.
The spot I'm keen to get to at the moment is Carolina 8.
Carolina, the picks in for Raiders.
Prime trade real. That for me, that is prime trade real estate. But Carolina
it wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, Genty. I think the real draft starts with the Jets, but even then it's Membu or Warren, and then Carolina. It's a tough one. It really is. It's like, could the Panthers trade out or take a defensive guy? I don't know.
I think they probably do go edge. The question is going to be where in the draft they do it, if they can get the right price to move down. If not, possibly Javon Walker.
Maybe. Genty to the Raiders just popped up for me.
Yeah, that has. And yeah, he makes the Raiders offense better in a division where they needed to be a lot better on offense. There are still 3 very, very good teams, 3 playoff teams that they need to cut through before they've got even a remote chance of making the postseason. And they needed to start on the ground. You pair him with Brock Bowers. You can use Genty in a number of ways. Genty also, you can then use him play action to free up Bowers.
Yeah,
Jacoby Myers is an underrated receiver out there. They do need to still find, I think, offensive linemen.
I can't believe the Patriots took Juju over Jacoby Myers 2 years ago. I'm like that is beyond me, because I believe I agree with you. Jacoby Myers is a really refined receiver. But the strategy last year where they took Bowers, best player on the board, they're taking Genty, best player on the board. It might not be their biggest need, but it worked last year. You know, you saw the production that Bowers had. It'll be the same with Genty. It's just like that offense is gonna run through him and Bowers. And I think whoever's playing quarterback for them, whether it's Geno Smith or 3 years down the line, I don't know who it could be. But I think at the end of the day, it's the right move. It's the right move, 100%.
It's the right move. The Raiders got better now, but they're still the worst team in that division.
Oh, easily. Since we have zero,
that shouldn't be perceived necessarily as a criticism when you consider the level of quarterback that they're going to be seeing twice a year for the next half decade, probably. Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes.
Since we have 0 viewers, I'm going to quickly nip to the toilet. I'll literally I'll be less than 1 minute, I promise you. Sorry.
Alright.
Ashton, you are going to the entertainment capital of the world to play football. What makes you a headliner for the Las Vegas Raiders?
I mean, you see the energy, you see the dance moves. I'm ready to go entertain each and every week on Sunday.
The commissioner of the NFL just picked you up in that hug. Is that the last man that's going to try to tackle you in the NFL?
I don't think so.
Congratulations.
Jets pick came in quick.
There goes Ashton Genty. The Jets pick is in, and we're going to get that when we come back from break. Don't stop believing. Is clearing right now at the Browns draft market. Very interesting choice for Browns fans to be hearing.
Some of those Browns fans did stop believing about every 40 minutes ago.
Well, I just want to make sure, this song is also known for somebody in a Mr. Chat.
I'm sorry.
Alright,
It was
Jets
all
pick is in.
Pepsi. The pick's in. Jesus. Sorry, it was all that Pepsi, It builds up.
Teams aren't hanging around here, are they?
You know what? It's good because it means I'll get to sleep sooner. So,
Yes.
Is it Warren or is it Membu? That's the question.
Given the speed they put the pick in, I'd assume it's Warren.
It's a tough one. It's like, as me and you both said, it's like we've both been mocking Membu to the Jets for a long time, But I think the Panthers here at 8. I think that's where it really starts with just the amount of different areas they could go. It's like they could go with Tetro McMillan, give Bryce Young a true alpha number 1 receiver. They could add pressure on them.
Next 3 picks after this can go in any one of a number of directions. Carolina can go in a number of directions. Chicago can go in another direction. The Saints, I think, just about every position that's not
Literally, it's ridiculous. It's just like, would you want to force a quarterback?
I think that the next 2 after that, I think San Francisco, Dallas, 11 and 12. It's going to be a little bit more predictable again because the Niners are going to go offensive line. Dallas are going to take a skill position player.
I disagree with you. I think the Niners will go D tackle, or maybe edge rusher, or it could be offensive line. Like the Niners could be a Calvin Banks team,
They could go Gray Zabel if they think that he's going to be effective inside.
I quite like Gray Zabel. It's like I saw in the chat earlier about how you said he isn't top 10. I agree with you that he isn't top 10. However, he's top 20. I just think it was the competition he was playing against. It's like, what college was he from? Is it North Dakota?
Yeah, he's North Dakota State. It's a bit like the other one in that mold is Mike Green from Marshall.
I was about to say Mike Green. It's like his
if he went to an Ohio State, would be a top 10 pick. But because he went to Marshall, he'll be lucky to crack the top 20.
I could see Mike Green to the Panthers. To be fair, at 8, it wouldn't surprise me at all.
I think it's more likely they'd go for Walker. But I mean, Jade Barron's potentially in play here as well. But I've seen him.
No.
I've seen him mocked in this spot. I've seen him mocked down at 29. So
I would do Will Johnson.
Not a lot different. I don't think there's a lot to spread out between the next 40 players.
I would do Will Johnson ahead of Barron any day. I don't see the fascination at all, to be honest with you, with Jade Barron. Could the Jets be a corner team potentially? If I hear Will Johnson's name, it would not shock me. It's like, outside of Sauce, who do they have? Because I believe DJ Reed, their second corner, went to the Lions this offseason.
Yeah.
So nothing would surprise me.
We're about to find out either way. I might have to spoil this one for you.
Remember,
Because you're a good 15, 20 seconds back.
They could go Membu. There could be all different ways the Jets could go with this pick.
No shocks for you, I'm afraid.
Time instead of just speculate.
I hate how this is behind. Honestly, I just want to know. I mean, Goodell was just walking out for me just now.
Yeah, I'm currently watching the analysis of the pick.
The New York Jets select Armand Membu,
There you go.
Missouri.
I'm going to go put that on the chat.
Well, my mock is currently 7 for 7, so
I don't get why players don't attend the draft. It's like Armin Membu surely
it's an
knows.
invitation thing. The NFL
Oh, is it
invite
not?
certain players.
Really?
Yeah, there's only 17. There's only 17 accepted invites this year.
No, but
Sometimes you just want to spend time at home. You want to experience it with your family.
But it's like I don't get how like Jalen Milroe gets an invite, but then Armin Membu doesn't get an invite. It's ridiculous.
As like I've said before, offensive tackle, it's not sexy.
But it's the Jets. The Jets' offensive line. It's looking good.
Panthers are picked.
Really?
Panthers are picked.
Oh mate, it means I might get to hit my pillow by 4 a.m. today. It's good.
Javon Walker is definitely in play here.
Jalen Walker, Mike Green. It could be Will Johnson. It could be Ted McMillan.
Or they could throw a curveball straight through it.
No trade so far. Well, actually, no, apart from the Hunter trade. But like, I remember seeing everybody post.
I had Carolina pegged as a serious candidate to go down to move down.
I thought Carolina would move up to 3 and take Abdul Carter. I at one point I thought it was possible.
I think they have too many other needs to be. I mean, a move like that, you're definitely going to have to give away your first rounder next year. When you saw Cleveland took Jacksonville's first rounder for next year just for them moving up from 5 to move up from 8, you would have need to throw in probably this year's 2, next year's 1,
Yeah,
maybe a 2 the year after that. You'd have to give up a lot to make that move happen. And while Abdul Carter probably would have proved worth it, they've got too many other gaps in the roster right now to be able to justify that one.
I agree with you. I think with the Panthers here, Jalen Walker or Ted McMillan, or a corner potentially. But I'd be surprised if it's a corner.
Tyler Warren.
That's a sneaky one. I could see it.
I can see them running the pick in for Tyler Warren, and they did not take long on the clock. That was maybe 3.5, 4 minutes they were on the clock, and then the pick in. So I can see this easily being Tyler.
I mean that throws off other draft plans for other teams if Tyler Warren goes off the board. It's like I've had Tyler Warren going to the Colts for a lot of my mocks, but it's like this will be the first like draft position that will surprise me, you know.
But like I said, Panthers have so many needs. There's so many players that they could select at this point.
I think if Tech's on the board with the Saints, I could see Tech going to the Saints. Then any quarterback who steps into that situation, you have Chris Olave and Ted McMillan. I don't think it's a bad, in terms of receiving core, I don't think it's bad. But they could also go O-line, or they could just go for Sanders. Which
is that any quarterback coming into the situation you're in right now is coming into a bad spot because you're going into a team that not only isn't good, but doesn't have the freedom to get better the way that other bad teams do.
Yeah, no money at all.
Yeah, take a look at the Patriots this year. What was it, 80 plus million in cap space plus a top 5 pick?
However,
so you can very quickly make that team better. The Saints don't have cap space to spend in free agency to get top 5 free agents on big money
However, it's like the only reason
To the draft.
it's like the only reason we had that much money was because we had the most cap space last year and the year before, and we didn't spend it. So it's very rare to have the amount of money that the Patriots did this offseason. And you're lucky that you already have a quarterback in Drake May from last year. It's like, if that's this year, Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, or Drake May are both first, easily. I can't call this, to be honest with you.
No, I think any one of the main, like, obviously there are a lot of the top 15 picks of the on the sort of big boards have come off, but I think any of the rest of the top 15 could be in play here.
Could this be a Malachi Starks team?
Possibly, but I still feel it's too early for Starks right now.
I mean, you had him going to the Bears at 10.
I did have him go to the Bears at 10. I'm close to that one.
That's crazy. I think you should chuck a $5 on it, and if it hits, you'll be rich.
I think honestly, it's probably the best possibility for the Bears. To be honest, I think it's the best match of need and player, but we'll see. It's not something that's been mocked.
Yeah,
at all.
It's interesting.
Right, let's see what the Panthers are going to do. The commission's at the podium.
Oh, he's at your podium already. This is ridiculous. Hold on, don't say anything.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Shush. Shush. I'm excited now. Okay, he's walking out for me. Is it Malachi Starks?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
But it's nobody I thought it was going to be.
The Carolina Panthers select Teterola McMillan.
No, in all fairness, I did say.
You did.
However,
but it's not one that I thought likely.
I think when you look at he I don't want to grade him too high, but he gives me Mike Evans vibes. In the fact, okay, he's not.
We're saying Drake London.
I can get behind Drake London. I can see it. In that, okay, it's like he's not the fastest. He doesn't get the most separation, but it doesn't matter where the ball is. He'll catch it. He'll jump for it, and he's a bigger body guy as well. I think Bryce Young is going to be bouncing, knowing he's getting another proper receiver one. Pick 9 already.
Yep, ideal.
Is Ted McMillan from Hawaii? I'm just looking at the thing he's wearing around his neck.
Genuinely no idea.
I think Nick's the only one that's up, to be honest with you.
Wouldn't surprise me. Everybody else has these things called jobs and lives.
I got tomorrow off, so.
I don't like it either when I see it on film. But I'm telling you, these guys are coached to do that in these offenses, and it's tough to scout when you see that on film. But this guy in a 50-50 situation.
All right, Saints.
So, I think at this point, this puts the Panthers all in on Bryce Young.
And if Bryce succeeds in this,
got another weapon to work with alongside Xavier Legette. I still think this offense needs to operate through Chuba Hubbard, particularly now that they've got Nico Daniel run with them.
Still have Adam Thielen as well, who's running well considering his age. But I think at the end of the day, if Bryce can't excel with these weapons, or whatever you want to call them, weapons, receivers, gadgets, whatever, it's like you have to be looking for a new quarterback next year if he can't figure it out.
Yeah.
But I think overall it's a good pick. I'm just concerned about them addressing the defense because I believe they were the worst rated.
Yeah, but I think that they will be looking at later rounds potentially for that.
I think the defense in this draft, there's more of it compared to the offensive playmakers.
Panthers might be a candidate to come back into the tail end of round one.
It wouldn't surprise me. I saw on Twitter that the Patriots be interested in coming back in for a
Saints pick is in.
Really?
Yeah. Surely this will be. I think Tyler Warren at this point. I think.
Could it be Jackson Dart?
There's been a lot of talk about a quarterback in the spot, but I just don't think they can pass up on Warren. I'm afraid. I really don't think they can.
Could it be Jackson Dart? And Nick's probably staying up for the Saints pick, and he's going to Bird.
I've seen the rumours, but I don't see it. For me, it's just not.
Oh wait, I need to stay off social media actually, because before you know it, I'll see the pick. Could it be Sanders?
I'll try and keep my reaction down, but if this is not Warren,
if this is Jackson Dart, yeah, seriously. The thing is, I think Jackson Dart fits the scheme. Yeah, I have him fitting in a West Coast offense, a lot of under center, rolling out, easy reads. It's the sort of thing they did for Jalen Hurts. He has a quick release. He's very athletic.
What the Saints have right now is former Cowboys third stringer Ben DiNucci, Jake Hayner, and Spencer Rattler.
Because surely Derek Carr won't play.
Derek Carr can't play.
It's unless it's Jalen Milroe in round 2. Which
I think that could be something they could look at. The other option, it could be Taylor Shook.
At 9, no way.
They could take Shook in the early 40s.
I could see it in the early 40s, yeah.
And I think if you're going to do that, you get him a weapon right now. Commissioners at the podium.
This should be interesting. Oh, I'm excited for this because it's like the Saints pick is winning. Okay, hold on. Still waiting on it. Oh no.
Wow. Did not see that one coming.
With the 9th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Kelvin Banks Jr., tackle.
That's a good move. No, you know what? That's when it came to the Eagles. When it came to the Eagles,
I don't hate it. I think Chicago.
When it came to the Eagles, I think the trench play was essential for Kellen Moore's offense. You know, and whether Banks gets kicked into guard and Trevor Penning, their former first-round pick, plays tackle.
Banks will be starting to tackle because they lost Ramchick to retirement.
That's true. He did.
I think
that's a good move.
I think a quarterback early in round 2, whether it's Shook or Sanders or Milroe, is very likely. I think early tomorrow. And now what they've done is they've given themselves a big body to protect that quarterback that they're going to potentially pick up. I think if I'm Chicago, though, I am now sprinting to the podium with the name of Tyler Warren.
No, they have Cole Kmet. They just paid Cole Kmet.
Yeah, they just paid Cole Kmet. But can you imagine a tight end combination of Kmet and Warren with Adunze and Moore on the other side and DeAndre Swift in the backfield? Or a running
DeAndre Swift is not that good. I don't see the thing with DeAndre Swift. I don't see it at all, to be honest.
They haven't spent much time thinking about this. This has got to be Tyler Warren then.
Or Marion Hampton.
No, sorry. I don't think we're going running back at this spot. Not with Warren available.
Imagine Sanders falls to the second. I think that would be good value for somebody to pay. Yeah, it's like you see if the Browns can get him in the
don't get me wrong here, right? If this is Malachi Starks, I will look like a I will look
Mate,
like
you
the
pitched
best
five on.
pick of all time, but Tyler Warren is the sensible pick for them right here, right now.
I have this on record, by the way, that you predicted Malachi Starks. So if it happens,
Why the hell is Sarah Michelle Gellar announcing the pick?
This pick is where does Shedeur go to? Where does he fall to? Meanwhile, the Bears pick
I'm trying to tell by your reaction. You've got to keep a straight face.
who that pick is. The Niners are on the clock.
No, it's what I'm watching is why budget Sarah Michelle Gellar announcing the pick. They're doing something where somebody's talking shit.
Boy, do we have an announcement for you, live from the heart of the NFL draft.
Also, imagine hosting a draft in Green Bay. No way.
It's a strange decision, isn't it?
It's like you could do it in Miami, you could do it in Phoenix, you could do it in Texas, but you do it in Green Bay.
Yeah, this is where we get to geek out over every single game and bye week, the primetime revenge and rematches, those late season
Where are they releasing the schedule?
deciding playoff spots.
I don't know. They've put two blondes on the stage to talk about the schedule for some reason. I don't get it.
You'll find out soon, okay? How about these rookies, the players who are drafted?
Thing is, I want to know when the international games are because I'm quite keen to go to Dublin.
They're revealing the schedule reveal.
The expanding
What?
lineup of international games as
Why are you doing a thing to...
giving
Hold on, wait, the international... Wait, 2 seconds.
No. What they've done is they've done basically like a promo release for the scheduled release date. So the schedule will be released on May the 14th. Thanks. Cool. You need to interrupt the draft for that?
May 14th. I really want to go to Dublin to see the Steelers play whoever. I believe it's at Croke Park in Dublin, so...
If they go find it's called the Aviva Stadium, so.
Full coverage of the thrilling 2025 matchup. May 14th around the corner. I know. It's basically here at this point. Guys, get ready and buckle up for the greatest season of your lives.
Oh, just get off the stage.
That is quite the hype. I know what I'm doing on May 14th.
O'Marion Hampton's the Bears.
All this, you hear the booze.
It won't be Hampton.
When the Bears are about to make their pick, didn't even need Clay Matthews.
The commission is out to announce it.
Draft in the home of the Packers.
I wonder what the Niners are going to do right now.
We find out
D tackle. Walter Nolan's the Niners.
they trade up for
I don't know. I think with Walker still on the board, they might go that way.
They have every tight end available. What do you think, Daniel? The tackles are gone. So this
Oh, of course. Yeah, Stephen Michael died this week.
Malachi Starks.
No, the commission's talking about the death of Steve McMichael. Moncho.
Oh, I see.
Yesterday, the NFL family lost a true legend. Bears Hall of Famer Steve McMichael. My heart went to the
1975 NFL Draft.
Oh, wait, I hear it.
Selected one of Steve Michael's teammates and closest friends. Walter Payton, running back, Jackson State.
It's also the 50th anniversary of Walter Payton's selection.
Continue to inspire.
I think you've turned up your thing, by the way.
What do you mean?
Your TV.
I've not touched it, mate.
Chicago Bears selected one of Steve McMichael's
As you heard
teammates.
earlier, the NFL continues to honor sweetness,
Walter Payton.
not only for his performance and excellence on the field, but also his commitment to give back to his community. With the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award.
17,000 yards.
So with the 10th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
With the Chicago Bears. As you heard earlier, the NFL continues to honor sweetness, not only for his performance,
I didn't hear.
Oh,
but also
wow.
back to his community.
Stunner.
The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year.
I didn't hear it, by the way, so I'm interested.
So with
Is it Starks?
No,
the 2025
No.
not Tyler Warren. But it is a tight end.
the Chicago
Loveland.
select
Colston Loveland.
tight end, Michigan.
What a reach. What the fuck?
I thought
Wow.
Tyler Warren was the
The
consensus.
Bears are letting get absolutely rinsed.
Both excellent players too.
However, they have got a pro concussion and Mark Andrews on him, so it also depends about Taylor Eifert, who's a player I always rated when he was healthy.
These comments, by the way, on Instagram were just they're crazy. He's just getting rinsed. Wow, that's interesting. I actually forgot to take notes on the tight end, so I don't have anything.
Loveland's good. He runs good. He runs good route. He runs very solid routes.
Oh, excuse me.
Solid route runner. Good hands. Runs good track.
Ahead of Warren, though. Ahead of Warren. That's going to be the sort of...
I don't know that I would have taken him ahead of Warren, but that's why I'm not an NFL GM.
That's rich for me, like.
Look at him go up and catch the football there. Watch him get inside and suddenness and break it away, Joel Klatt. You got to see this guy play. You call a lot of his games. Just think if he had consistent quarterbacking play this last year at Michigan, what would have been dynamite? He produced with substandard. Not even like
Well, that's a reach. That's a mega reach, actually. That is... Wait, is the pick in for the 49ers?
Not yet. Not as far as I can tell, anyway.
This is where it really opens up. You know, they could go edge rusher. They could go D tackle.
I think it's got to be Jalen Walker here.
Don't be surprised if it's Walter Nolan. That's all I'm saying.
Pick is in
Walter Nolan, Kenneth Grant. Could be Micah Williams or Jalen Walker.
I think Michael Williams is a reach here.
Picks in. Just feels like a reach. Like they could have traded back to say with the Colts, because the Colts would have gone up for Tyler Warren. You know. Like they could have traded back with the Colts and taken Loveland at 14.
Let's try something different.
Just feels quite rich for me.
Let's try something new.
It all comes down to what the Bears prefer, I think. So they see something in Loveland's tape that they didn't see in Warren's or vice versa.
Just clocking what this meant. It might be greater than anything you ever expected.
Oh, I've just checked fucking Instagram. I hate that. And what an interesting pick, I'll say that. Oh mate, you know what? Remind me to just stay off Instagram completely. Because that's just completely spoiled it. Not a D tackle, I'll say that. Oh man. Yeah, remind me to just like stay off my phone next time.
Yeah.
It just completely spoils it sometimes. That's interesting. That's very interesting. But it just kills the suspense, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This stuff kills beef down to the root without killing your bone.
The pudding comes from leaves, which means someday.
I actually had him going here in one of my mock drafts.
Who?
The 49ers pick. I don't want to spoil it for you, obviously, but like I had him. I did a mock draft a couple of weeks ago, and I had him going here in the Niners.
Okay.
And it's not Walter Nolan. I'll spoil it for you. It's not Walter Nolan.
Doesn't that down and Ollie ruled overnight?
Going in. We need a doctor in here now.
Open.
Fire him up.
Chicago's best of bag, including a grouping crossover event
Nice work, sir.
on Sky Witness.
History.
Are you still getting adverts?
This is the
No, I might be advert now.
available from the 5th of May on Sky History. As we take a look at the green room built by Lowe's, the Niners pick is in. The Cowboys have 4 minutes left, and I'm going to be honest with you, you can't.
Yeah, I don't get how somebody like Jalen Milroe gets invited to the draft, but then you have a player like Colston Loveland who didn't get invited.
Not sure about.
Put them at 12 if they so choose. Same thing with Golden because he's sitting in the green room and maybe clapping for one would think. Another player there is the general
You reckon that 49ers investment to Rangers will go through?
behind him, celebrating the latest San Francisco 49er 11th overall.
I don't see any reason why it wouldn't.
This is an important
Imagine it doesn't. Mate, that would be the ultimate banter, honestly.
offseason. They need to nail this draft.
For the moment, let's set things to the stage.
Overseas military pick announcement.
Please direct your attention to the main stage video screen.
How do you reckon you get tickets to sit
Message
in the draft bar, in the little boxes?
station
Probably a lottery of some description.
in Japan.
Hello from United States Forces Japan. I'm Sergeant Mitchell Johnson. I'm here with service members from the United States Army, Marine Corps, and Navy. We're proud to announce that this
Sometimes I wish that he'd just cut to the chase.
anniversary. We're grateful for the opportunity to partner
Has your pick come up yet?
with the service and the U.S.
Just the way to have it now.
San Francisco 49ers 2025 draft pick.
With the San Francisco 49ers draft pick, back to you in Green Bay.
So here comes the commissioner now with that pick. Chance of USA mixed in
Oh,
with the
reach.
Losers here.
You think it's a reach?
I think it's a reach.
Michael Williams.
I think that's a reach. Don't get me wrong, it definitely fills a need for the Niners. And he's going to do well opposite Joey Bosa. Sorry, Nick Bosa. But for me, too early.
Jalen Walker's still on the board, that's the thing.
Yeah, Jahad Campbell's also still on the board.
Georgia.
Daniel,
To be fair, he's a sneaky player for this year because there's going to be all the double teams on Bosa. He could be a sneaky player.
The problem
I think it's good for him to develop behind somebody like Nick
yeah, but
Bosa.
I think he needs to be able to go now.
It's just, you know what? I agree with what PFF are saying in that he's very raw. He's got the talent there, but he just needs to refine it. But it's a tough one.
Consistent, I think, was health related, but he's very long. He's got long arms, and he uses where he is as a rusher. You see that long inside arm, able to go through and get to the quarterback. I like the idea of widening him out more. He had a lot of tight alignments in that Georgia defense. San Francisco, with their scheme, they will loosen him up.
But if there's any good person to learn behind, it would be Nick Bosa. You know, the raw talent is there, but it just needs refined.
The problem I've got, I think that the 49ers probably need something a little bit more at the box. This looks like
It's just the fact that Jalen Walker's still there.
Yeah, Cowboys have just picked. Jerry Jones is on the phone.
They've already picked
Yeah.
Matthew Golden.
Now it's Tyler Warren. Has to be.
No, but they already have Jake Ferguson.
I think
Thing is, the value of a tight end, yeah, the value of a tight end isn't what it used to be. I think it'll be Matthew Golden out of Texas.
Under a minute. There you go.
Or it could be Hampton.
I'm saying Warren here.
They might be going somewhere else than all of those three as well. So we'll find out who the Cowboys are celebrating. The new head coach, Brian Schottenheimer, just had the phone handed to him.
What?
Would you say it's a Jerry Jones pick?
It's a Jerry Jones pick. Wow. I mean, plug and play replacement for Zach Martin.
2025 NFL Draft.
Disabled.
The Dallas Cowboys select Tyler Booker, guard,
Oh.
Alabama.
I was listening to a podcast actually earlier, and they said don't be surprised if they take Tyler Booker.
Plug and play replacement for Zach Martin.
I think he'll fit into that. I think he'll fit into that team nicely. But ahead of like, it's like when Dak was playing well, he had two receivers. You know, wow. I wouldn't call it a reach per se, because I understand the need. But it's like when you have a talent like Matthew Golden there, it's tough to justify.
I can't justify this Tyler Warren slip at all. This is when Indianapolis start to lick their lips. Because Indy could sit pat and still get Tyler Warren.
That's interesting. I think Dolphins coming up. Who could be a Dolphins pick for you? Because Will Johnson, they could add more speed with Matthew Golden.
Well, defensively, just about everybody's still on the board. You've still got Jalen Walker in play. You've still got
Jihad Campbell. You still got the top three corners.
Johnson, yeah.
Tyler Booker.
This could be a defensive pick for Miami, I think.
Tyler Booker. That's interesting.
Unless do they like
what offense? Yeah, it could be Gray Zabel. I was thinking, what linemen are still left?
Simmons. Although would Simmons be
Simmons, Connerly. This could be a Simmons team. Wouldn't surprise me if it's a Simmons team.
Could Miami go for Warren?
No, because Jonnu Smith just had like a breakout year. There's no way. Warren's going to go to the Colts. I'm going to chuck a bet on that actually. Because seriously, by the way, I'm not sponsored by BetMGM. I'm just saying. I'm using it in my own.
How are you feeling right now?
I'm super excited. I'm blessed to be a Cowboy. It's a great tradition.
Where is the betting on here?
You did not allow a sack on your quarterback this last season. Did Dak Prescott just become your new best friend?
Oh yeah, I can't wait to get on the phone with Dak. Getting the protection means make sure he goes clean every single game. I'm just so excited to be a Cowboy.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Look at that million-watt smile coming to
Won't even let me put one on. I don't think it's working. That's interesting.
Don't forget there is a Tyler, Texas. There is a Tyler, Texas. And a lot of Tylers on that offensive line. Here's Tyler Booker.
Yeah, this is, again, the run game. He is able to create movement.
That's interesting. Just for a guard at 12.
I can see Miami taking some time here. Because they need to.
I think they will. I wouldn't be surprised if they take the. I wouldn't be surprised if they take the full 10 minutes. Because there's a lot of choices.
Yeah, they're taking 6 minutes already.
And I had Tyler Booker to the Chiefs at the end of the first round.
Yeah, it just goes to show that there's very little to choose between 10 and 32 at this point.
They're still picking. Jesus.
like I said, Miami are probably going to take a lot of the time because that's it. They've got picking.
Bought you McNuggets and a drink. So guess what? That's right.
Picks in.
Is it?
Yeah.
Red Bull gives you wings. Football. It has its ups and downs.
Are we thinking defense or offense here?
Given the talent this party right now, I think defense, but
I think Jalen Walker or Will Johnson, one of them.
Acca gives you insurance, free bets, and big odds boosts. So whatever lets you down, it won't be your Acca. It's a gaffer of an Acca from Ledbrooks.
In search of glory, you have to bring your AI game and build a team.
I still need to update my banners. Dolphins pick, isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, I think at this point, Warren to the Dolphins. No, I meant Warren to the Colts, and whoever's left between Jalen Walker and Jahad Campbell will go to the Falcons. If Jalen Walker's there for the Falcons at 15, they are going to be that draft room is going to go crazy, knowing they have a chance to take Jalen Walker.
The person who's going to suffer here is going to be Mike Green. Because I think he goes from a top 15 pick down to.
He wouldn't go past the Commanders. He wouldn't get past the Commanders.
No, but I think Detroit could come up and get him, try and get ahead of maybe Green Bay or the Chargers.
Or the Bucks. The Bucks, maybe.
Possibly. It depends how the Bucks are feeling about Yaya Diaby right now.
That's true. Or, I mean, you still have Ezraku on the board. Still have Shamar Stewart. You know, James Pierce is still on the board. All these edge rushers are still on the board. So I think a team like Detroit will end up with one of them.
Yeah.
But it's just a matter of like which one, you know. I've still got ads on mines, to be honest with you. I hate this. We're getting there. Pick 13 already.
Yep.
The pick is in. Oh, I forgot they added Zach Wilson as well. You know he's wearing 0.
Nah, I've heard that.
It's mental.
0 for the number of meaningful snaps he'll play this year.
Are we thinking Sanders to the Falcons, considering what happened last year?
Possibly not.
No, something crossed my mind, but it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. But I had Sanders to the Dolphins, but then I remembered that Tua was on a contract.
Yeah. Kenneth Grant.
And my prediction, huh?
They've gone Kenneth Grant. DC from Michigan.
Mine still hasn't popped up yet.
With the 13th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Miami Dolphins select Kenneth Grant.
That's interesting. It's very interesting.
So I think the next 3 picks should, based on how this is going, this will be wrong, but it should be Tyler Warren, Jalen Walker, and Jahad Campbell.
No, the Cardinals will go Josh Simmons. Josh Simmons, I'm thinking.
Yeah, but I don't think that in any scenario they thought Jahad Campbell would still be on the board for them.
It's a tough one. I thought maybe Starks to the Dolphins, but
I don't necessarily know that Stark stays in the first round with the way it's going out right now.
I could see him as a Vikings pick, depending on how the board falls. Unless somebody trades with the Vikings.
Still only that one trade. Seems like a lot of teams are just kind of staying there, just going best available.
I could. This is not biased at all, but I could see the Patriots trading up with the Vikings because the Patriots have a third round pick. When we traded Matthew Judon last year to the Falcons, I think it's pick 77. So it's another piece of draft capital. So I could see the Giants going up. I could see the Patriots going up. The Patriots would go up for a receiver. The Giants would go up for potentially Jackson Dart, maybe. Pixon, yeah, it's Tyler Warren, surely.
I'm just looking at who's yet to come in the clock. Pittsburgh, if they want to go QB, you're going to have the choice between Dart and Sanders.
Could Sanders be?
Unless somebody comes way up.
If Sanders doesn't go to the Steelers, the Giants are going to go up for him. Surely.
Quite possible.
Giants will trade with the Vikings to go up.
Okay, here comes the commissioner again.
Falcons are a minute and change going in. And listen, we were putting Colston Loveland's name in a lot of mock drafts here. We thought Tyler Warren was gone. Tyler Warren's sitting there.
Tyler Warren, surely. A big target for Anthony Richardson to hit. And if he can't hit somebody like Tyler Warren, you know. Don't go saying anything, by the way, because mine's still playing.
With the 14th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Tyler Warren.
Yeah, Warren.
Penn State.
That's been getting mocked. Yeah.
There's a filthy one-handed catch in his film, by the way.
Warren's been getting mocked to the Colts for however. It's the same with Will Campbell with the Patriots. It's been one of those mocks that's just been. It's been getting done since the mock draft for the season started. He's a workhorse, like.
Yeah. He's the kind of tight end that'll get 7,500 catches a year.
Sneaky fantasy pick for next year.
Yeah. Kind of person I'd be looking at second round in deeper formats.
Almost halfway through already. Surely a Jalen Walker for the Falcons. Surely.
So good. This could come down to who Atlanta like most. Is it going to be Jihad Campbell? Is it going to be Jalen Walker? Or could it be Mike Green potentially?
Or Shedeur Sanders. I mean, considering after last year, nothing would surprise me. No, this could be Jalen Walker, I think. Yeah. Or Mike Green. It's like Mike Green had the sexual assault allegations back from when he was in Virginia. And the Falcons weren't scared to go for Deshaun Watson 2-3 years ago. So if it's Mike Green, I wouldn't be surprised.
No, they've used half their time and have not yet submitted the pick.
That's what I look at when I watch Tyler Warren play. He is just a football player. Whatever you ask him to do, he's got the ability to do that. A big guy, but soft hands, his ability to run after the catch. I think this is a home run for the Indianapolis Colts. So, we go to break. Out of 10 players here in Wisconsin that we've seen tonight. I wonder what some of these guys have in common. 3 of the first 13 picks from one school.
The edge rushers are falling. I'll say that. You know,
Yeah. Certainly a heavy run on offensive players at the minute.
but there's been no, apart from Coulson Loveland, there's been no major surprises so far.
Booker going up at 12, bit of a shock.
Huh?
I'm thinking Williams at 11, Booker at 12. Slightly surprising.
Yeah, Cowboys pick actually maybe. I mean, you look at how the board's fallen. I think the Broncos will be happy because I think they could. That could be Marion Hampton team would be the Broncos.
Depends if one of the high-end pass rushers drop into their lap.
I was going to see the money for O'Marion Hampton to the Broncos.
Fantastic. Experience more exclusive live sport than anywhere else with Sky Sports. As well as more of the latest blockbusters with Sky Cinema.
Oh, the money's not even that good. That's the worst part.
Tell when someone's lying is kind of a thing I do. So, who are you?
If Shedeur doesn't go to the Steelers, he's not a first-round player, which is crazy. Considering I remember, like, back in January, he was getting hyped as, like...
Top 3.
I remember before the Cam Ward hype came in, it was Shedeur go at 1. You know, it's crazy how much people have noticed.
He's Willy Wonka. Let's get him with my kids. Roger likes the team. This is all I did.
They're always against me.
Should be interesting.
I am already Hope, and I am a wild robot. Buying movies for $3.99 with the Sky Store Easter sale.
That's whatever's in there is big and it's moving fast. Twisters, available now on Sky Cinema.
The WSL is in full swing, with games coming quickly fast. Come join us live on Sky Sports.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the deuce is loose.
We're back with the card.
More of the latest blockbusters. All you have to do is smile. Available now on Sky Cinema.
Gets to that point in the night where it's just like CBA, honestly.
Yeah, you get in the mid-draft, but it's a little bit dreary. And Atlanta
I mean,
still have not picked. They've got 1:10.
I was wondering why this was taking so long.
Yeah, the reason for the delay is Atlanta have 1 minute left to pick.
I feel like this is going to be a reach. Penix, and then they traded up for Ruka last year. So I remember he was a reach at the time.
They're not convinced by anybody, are they?
How many times have we said Atlanta needs a pass rusher?
I'm Arizona, I'd be prepping the card.
Pretty much. Look at that right on the screen there. The numbers support it.
30 seconds.
Look who's sitting there. The number 5 guy on
They're taking their time, like. They are taking their time.
I think they've just
I've got 40 seconds on mine.
I'm a good 15 seconds ahead of your stream now. Yeah, just put it in there.
Don't go saying anything once it's in, by the way. I feel like I still like the thrill of what it is, you know. Yeah, it's always like between picks like 10 and 25 you start to switch off.
It's just a case of you know that you're not necessarily like the
Surely it's
kind of goes away.
Huh?
It's just that some of the intrigue kind of goes once you're away from the top end of the draft. It becomes a bit less predictable, so you're not quite like, I got that right.
Malachi Starks to the Falcons.
brought in Jeff Ulbrich from the Jets, who had worked up.
Who's your Starks team now?
They like to have pass rushers. Here comes Brick now to coordinate this defense. Pass rushers staring at him.
Possibly Baltimore, maybe Buffalo.
I was thinking that, but Baltimore or Buffalo potentially. Maybe the Eagles.
Exactly. The two best players available fit this specific need of those teams. This is you don't have to outguess yourself, right? It's right there. That's who you have rated. This is a chance to go get them.
Biggest head coach to owner conversation happening right now.
You see if they whiff on this pick, yeah.
Around Arizona.
Like, it should be interesting.
90 ticks into making their selection. 16th overall. Once that's made, we'll be halfway through the first round. Still haven't gotten another quarterback selected since first overall. Daniel, looks like you want to say something.
I'm just looking at this with Jalen Walker. Not only the best available, it fits a need that they have. But I think back to Houston. Now Houston did it in one draft. They got C.J. Stroud. They got Will Anderson. They got great players at positions of need. They were leaders of each side of the ball.
Has he announced yours yet?
You get Penix last year. If you come back with Walker this year, let these guys.
Yeah, he just announced it.
The Atlanta Falcons. Remember, those guys were
I'm so interested, especially considering how long they took. It's defense, yeah.
The player they picked, I'm surprised it took so long.
With the 15th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jalen Walker.
Yeah, I don't know why it took so long to take Jalen Walker.
I think that should only have taken a couple of minutes. There was somebody they really liked as well as him.
I think they were evaluating the corners and all the pass rushers because I don't think that they expected for that much pass rushers to be there.
I think they had a plan, and that plan involved Jalen Walker being off the board.
The Cardinals are up. Who are the Cardinals going to go with?
Surely Jahad Campbell.
I think Josh Simmons, It wouldn't surprise me if they go Zabel or Connerly, maybe.
I just don't. I can't see past Jahad Campbell on this one.
Oh, the Giants are picking up Kayvon Thibodeau's fifth-year option.
Interesting. Didn't see that one coming.
That means they're going to have two edge rushers.
And Brian Burns.
And Brian Burns.
And we have another guy who's still on the board, Jahad Campbell out of Alabama. That's very similar to what we're talking about with Jalen Walker. They're off-the-ball linebackers who can move to the edge and rush, a la Dante Hightower, who changed the fortunes of the Super Bowl with a rush and knocked it free from Matt Ryan and started that comeback for the New England.
The Cardinals still haven't used up. Oh, you still have the pizza. Fair play. Yeah, the Cardinals still haven't picked yet. Thing is, I can't call this one because they could go offensive line, they could go anywhere on defense. It's like your top corners are still on the board. Will Johnson, Barron, they're both still on the board.
Not completely agree. Very difficult to call this one. Barron, Campbell. Could go wide receiver.
Don't be surprised if it's Josh Simmons or Gray Zabel.
Mike Green.
Or Malachi Starks.
Mike Green, Shamar Stewart could be in play as well.
I'm looking at I think they need offensive line, but I don't love my offensive line.
There's actually a lot of good talent still on the board,
Mm-hmm.
Interesting, and you've got right there Golden sitting there. You've got Ibuka, and I think teams are again, there's not a consensus about who's better than the other. Who did Ibuka play with at Ohio State a couple of years ago?
Matthew Golden's still on the board, actually. That's true.
I think they were good as a tandem. And a team that likes to run the football is a better blocking receiver than Ibuka coming in right now, right? This is something that he does.
Still picking.
Put him in those condensed sets, and he will go down there, dig out safeties, and really make nice plays. And Golden can fly. Yeah, he's got that sub 4.3. Remember Isaiah Bond said he was going to run a certain speed, and then Golden.
Look at that scene here in Green Bay. Over 120,000 here. They closed off the.
I'm surprised they don't do the drafts like in the stadium. You know what I mean?
Mr. Arizona, take it away. I tell you what, I like what you guys are talking about on the offensive side.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Marvin Harrison on the backside that could be your next receiver. You got Trey McBride, a great tight end there with the Cardinals, and I'd love to have one of those speed.
Pick is in for the Cardinals. This could be any player. I can't call this.
You're going to put it on me, are you? I'm going to stick with what I was saying before. I think Jihad Campbell.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Jihad Campbell, but it could be offensive line.
Tony Khan off the top rope. I mean, that was no Check out Jaguars.
I'll try and judge it by your face reactions for your picks.
Fair enough, let's do that.
No Shedeur Sanders so far, and this is kind of what we started hearing as the draft became closer and closer, is that not only is it going to fall to 21 in Pittsburgh, but there's no backstop after 21 unless someone moves back in. New York moves back in, or Cleveland can move back in. Don't forget, Cleveland just got another second.
Here we go.
We have two of the first 4 picks tomorrow night.
And New Orleans is another team that you still, could they move back in? And that's the case.
I just think if Cleveland and the Giants both like the same quarterback, it'll be fascinating to game chicken to see who decides to make the move in this game.
Oh, mate, getting excited.
This is not somebody we discussed in this spot.
Malachi Starks.
With the 16th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Walter Nolan,
Oh.
defensive tackle, Mississippi.
All right, so they
Oh.
go into the defensive line here, Daniel.
Like I'm saying, not somebody we discussed.
You know what? When Jonathan Gannon was in Philadelphia, he had Jalen Carter, he had Jordan Davis, he had Milton Williams. He's going to want to try and replicate that sort of defense, those defensive players. So I think a player like Walter Nolan will be a nose tackle most likely. You know, I think that could be a good pick. You know, but I do agree with you in that it's not somebody we've discussed at this part of the draft.
No. I think the Bengals have now got to take Jihad Campbell. They need defensive help.
Surely.
His business. But I can easily see them going for Barron or potentially
Will Jones. Too much adverts for me, like, honestly.
Yeah. It's one of those, as these teams in the middle of the round are using the clock, you can't keep the guys on there forever.
I wish they would give them 5 minutes instead of 10. You know how much more interesting that would make it?
It does feel like 10 minutes is a bit too long. I mean, particularly at the front of the draft where, you know, you can be fairly sure who's coming off the board directly in front of you in the first 5 picks realistically. Certainly if you've got number 1, you've got months to basically make your on the clock, or effectively 4 months.
Yeah.
Good idea. It's never too early to consider my pension options. With II's low flat pension fees, you could retire before, helping you get the most out of your pension.
Oh, man.
Interactive.
What are your grades so far for each pick then?
Provided 3 years running. The IIC, your personal pension.
This is a landmark.
It's like let's go through each pick and grade them because it's interesting. So Cam Ward,
A minus for me, I think.
I can get behind that. I could do an A or I could do a B plus maybe. Hunter at 2 for the Jags. So I gotta go A plus for that one.
I think maybe not a plus, but definitely an
Carter to the Giants.
A. Again, A. You need to take players like that.
Campbell to the Patriots. B plus.
A minus. It's a player. It's the best player available in the position of most need.
Mason Graham to the Browns.
Probably a B plus. Maybe had slightly more pressing needs, but best player available again.
Genty to the Raiders.
A plus. Much needed players.
Membu to the Jets.
I'll give that a B plus. Membu is raw, but the talent's there.
I could do A minus, but yeah. Tech to the Panthers.
I'm going to give that a B minus. I feel like there
B
were
minus.
better. I feel like there were better players in positions of greater need.
That's interesting. I would go B plus actually. You know, then you got Banks to the Saints. I would do A minus.
Now B plus that.
Then you got Loveland to the Bears.
I think you've got maybe a C. He's a good player, but he's not the better tight end.
C minus for me. You know, Warren is clearly better. I don't understand it at all. You know. And then at 11 you've got Michael Williams.
Another C. I just think he's too raw to be taking it that high.
I'll go with a B. Go with a B, to be honest with you. Then Tyler Booker to the Cowboys. That caught me off guard. No pun intended. I'll say that. But
it's a B from me for that one.
B plus for me, maybe. Kenneth Grant to the Dolphins.
Not a player I had particularly going that high, but it's definitely a position of need for the Dolphins. So call that one a B plus.
I could maybe a B for me. But
Taylor Warren.
A plus.
It's an A plus.
I think the fact he fell down.
To stand pat and get the better tight end is.
It's ridiculous he fell down that far in the first place. You know, because the Jets could have taken him, the Panthers, the Saints, the Bears, the Cowboys.
And Atlanta, A plus for Jalen Walker.
Yeah, I would give that an A. I just think Jalen Walker's quite raw.
And then
Walter Nolan.
To
give that a B plus, to be honest with you.
I'm going to B minus there. I just feel like you could trade back, pick up pieces, and still get him.
Yeah.
Bengals selections coming up.
The Bengals. I'm still going to do your facial reaction, by the way.
Okay. Not who I would have taken, but okay. I get it.
NFL draft. The Cincinnati Bengals select Shamar Stewart.
I had them going Shamar Stewart. It was going to be an edge rusher either way, in all fairness.
I just feel like Jahid Campbell's the better player, and I cannot understand why he's dropping at this point.
You have the Seahawks up next.
This is a spot that quite a few mocks have had a trade.
I could see it. I could also see Gray Zabel here.
This could also be a landing spot for Campbell if they want to go defensive. It is Mike McDonald's a defensive head coach.
If Campbell doesn't go here, he's going to the Bucks for the next pick. That would be ridiculous. Seahawks, I think, could be a Gray Zabel team. What other guards are left, or offensive linemen are left? You have Simmons, you have Connerly, Donovan Jackson. Actually, I forgot he was still.
There's a few sitting around. We've also got the receivers.
Mecca Buka's still sitting around. Golden's still sitting around. Omarion Hampton still.
This could be a spot for one of those receivers.
There's a lot of good players, especially on offense, sitting about.
Bear in mind the Seahawks have lost. They've let Tyler Lockett lead, and then they traded DK Metcalf, so they're now operating with Silvercat and Jackson Smith and Jigba. This could be a spot for a receiver.
If it is, it'll be Matthew Golden because
I think they'll give them something they haven't already got. I absolutely agree with you.
Because Smith and Jigba, Cooper Kupp, they're all slot guys, and Mecca Buka is a slot player. So if they're going to go receiver, it has to be Matthew Golden.
Someone who can stretch the field.
Yeah, literally. I mean, they have. Who's their deep threat just now? I don't even know.
Jaddy Barnes still there. Jihad Campbell still there.
Will Johnson's still there. He's a better corner in my opinion, but
Emil Warrior as well, the safety. He's still hanging around.
Some of these guys are going to start to fall to the second round, you know.
Yeah.
Because I think the Broncos will go Hampton. If the Steelers go Shadeur, there could potentially be a run on linemen.
At the moment, I'm looking at the way that the offensive linemen are starting to drop and looking at where Kansas City are. Because I was reading that the rumour is that the Chiefs are looking to maybe move up a few spots, not a massive jump.
If they're going to move, I can see them moving with the Vikings, but I could see them moving with the Browns.
We need to try and get ahead of Houston.
Yeah, because Houston's going to take whatever tackle. The Commanders could take a tackle. I feel like that's got an underrated need.
The Seahawks have made a pick.
Wait, is it in?
Yeah, pick's in. They're looking very relaxed.
I mean, that's again on my show.
The Bengals will just be glad they're getting a bit of pressure on the edge.
That was at least an octave. Hey, and how about real quick? The commissioner last year played hurt. You remember?
Yeah, right.
Had a bad back coming in. Looks like the rehab is kicked in.
Seahawks. This could be a Zabel team.
Like he is standing strong and firm, and he's giving back as good as this coming in. Happy for the commission. Good year, good off season of rehab.
Well, you're nodding your head. Okay. Is it Zabel?
Yeah, Zabel.
It's a good move. It's a very good move.
With the 18th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Seattle
He can play all across the line. That's a useful pick for Seattle.
That's a really good pick because he can play guard, he can play center,
and he finishes blocks too.
Yeah. This should be a very quick pick for the Bucks and for the Broncos.
I would say you're probably right, but let's see.
Because I think it'll be Jihad Campbell to the Bucks, and it'll be Rain Hampton to the Broncos.
Was Simmons still sat on the board for the Broncos? Does that become an option?
Who, sorry?
Simmons.
I think Simmons is going to fall. I think he might fall to the Chiefs. You know, his injuries.
Coming off that Toronto tendon, yeah.
Let him heal and learn behind what's his face, Jalen Moore. You signed.
Yeah.
The left tackle. Let him learn behind Jalen Moore, and then once he's fully healthy, fully recovered, you can put him in.
We retained DJ Humphries as well. So
who is he from? Is he from the Cardinals?
Yeah. He was coming off an ACL, so he wasn't fit until November.
Let's try something different. Life's too short not to try something new.
I'm going to quickly grab a snack. I'll wait 2 seconds. It's all good.
Wow, that's strong. You know it, baby. Just copy what this meant. It might be greater than anything you ever expected.
This May on Sky Sports. Come to us for the coverage and stay for the vibes. The drop of absolute shining light. Let's go continental. Welcome to the show. These are days to be cherished. Good vibes and good sport. That's a little bit of this May.
You have backfire in this card. You backfire to all of it.
On date one, not good.
Is the pick in for the Bucks yet?
It is.
Yeah, it'll be Campbell, surely. And when folk are saying, "Oh, Jihad Campbell's so good," we'll be like, "Yeah." A lot of folk passed on him for no reason.
We're downstairs. One back, right?
I mean, Campbell here grades out as the long-term replacement for Levante David.
Yeah, agreed. Because Levante David isn't going to last forever, you know.
And Levante David's one of those players where I'm just like, he's probably on the fringes of the Hall of Fame conversation, but he's one of those Ring of Honor type players that I was talking about right from the top.
I think learning behind Levante David. Like, I would not be surprised if Jihad Campbell's a top 5 linebacker in the next 5 years because he has the traits to do it.
Yeah.
You know, the pick is in. And then Omeri Hampton to the Broncos, I assume. That's just the dream scenario.
Certainly would make sense.
I could see the Chargers and maybe the Packers being a Will Johnson or a Jahed Barron team.
Does another quarterback go tonight?
Sanders to the Steelers, I think.
I think it depends on how.
Or the Vikings could be a trade-up team.
Possible, but I mean, I don't know why, but I just have this feeling Pittsburgh are going to look at Jade Barron sitting on the board and be like, yeah, I want one of that.
It's got to be Will Johnson over Barron. I don't see the argument for Barron at all, to be honest.
The rejected will be respected. Hey, listen, one more time, as Shador is now about to, we assume, drop to at least the 20th overall pick.
What time is it in Green Bay just now?
Choose him, and it does look like he will be available for
Green Bay's on Eastern, so you're probably talking
What, 10 p.m.?
10 past 10, yeah.
He's enjoying being the 32nd overall pick in the NFL draft a few years ago. Just Aaron Rodgers, how did he enjoy being the 24th overall pick eventually, as we all know?
Well, just think about the fact that Brock Purdy's getting ready to get over $50 million a year. It is not about when you go, it is about where you go. So to me, who's Coach Sanders' family, you're hoping that he lands in the right place, not at the right time.
The reigning MVP of the Super Bowl is a second-round selection.
Yep.
Right? So these things happen.
Jihad Campbell here, surely. Surely.
Ideas in mind in terms of how
Oh,
their night would be over.
Oh,
it
don't
is
say
not
anything.
Jihad Campbell.
Oh, here comes the commissioner. So
Let's find out together, Rich.
Malachi Starks.
here we go.
Nope.
Let's pick of the teams.
With the 19th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka,
Wow.
wide receiver, Ohio State.
What?
Long-term answer for Mike Evans.
And it's Emeka Egbuka.
But he's a
Chris
slot.
Godwin's yeah, but Chris Godwin's also either gone or coming back from injury.
Yeah, but he's just been signed.
Next wide receiver that he's
Yeah, but he's still
Wow,
coming from ACL.
that's interesting.
Big-time hands. He is ultra instinctive. And
Wow.
you see him here with the ball.
I was not expecting that at all. Emeka Egbuka.
Great players at Ohio State. He's not afraid to do the dirty work. He's not selfish. You see him as a lead blocker. Just look at how physical and tough he is. I saw the Bucs live as you did as well, CD. That's one of the
Emeka Egbuka to the Bucs. Wow.
Lineage right here, Olave, Wilson, Smith and Jigba, Harrison Jr., Egbuka. You know why it was important?
I like it because he's a proper jitterbug.
Additionally, win an
Good hands,
That's
soft
true.
corner.
What's happened to Matthew Golden?
to have the lineage down to Jeremiah Smith, who we all think is still going to be in Ohio State for a couple of years. It might be the best of them all, coming out in a couple of years. And that was important. You know why? The brotherhood. That's what they call their position.
Egbuka to the Bucs. That's interesting. Well, hey, I mean, if I'm Baker Mayfield, I would be jumping with joy knowing I had a third weapon.
Not to mention that they've still got Kate Otten at tight end as well.
Campbell might be a Charger,
Not looking forward to that as a Chiefs fan.
Yeah, I was about to say. Maybe a Parker, Or is he going to fall to the Eagles and then we're going to say, how did Howie Roseman get away with it?
Maybe.
Chris Godwin coming back off of a big injury, right? Evans getting up there in his years. Here's Jalen McMillan who came in last year.
This pick's either going to be Matthew Golden or Marion Hampton.
Just because their coach went to Jacksonville, Liam Cohen, they don't want to
Yeah,
get
I
off
think.
Grisard's a new offensive coordinator. They want to stay
Look
on
at the amount of time they're taking on the pick, though. You wonder if Jihad Campbell's going to put the cat in the pigeons on that one.
Congratulations to this Buckeye.
There's no way teams in the 20s were thinking he was going to be on the board.
That's true.
So the Denver Broncos have to make their selection, and then it is time for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Will they take Shador Sanders or who else?
Wow, imagine Sanders isn't picked to the Steelers. Who's going to play quarterback for the Saints?
Like I said, I think potentially an early second rounder.
Jalen Milrow.
Depends. I mean, if Sanders drops to the top of the second, I'd be willing to sacrifice a 4 and a 5 this year to go and get him. I'd maybe put my 3 in there.
Yeah.
If you can get out of there with a left tackle and the quarterback out round 1 and 2, you're laughing.
and two players a couple of months ago that were projected to go top 10.
Yeah.
I think the Saints would be. It would be the same with the Browns. You know,
It has
Mason
to be
Graham
Jackson
is
Dart at the
Sanders.
top. I think it would have to be Jackson Dart at the top of the second to be comfortable with it. Or they could just stay put in round 2 and take Taylor Ship.
No way. A 26-year-old rookie. That's just bonkers. That's bonkers.
There were two Tonys.
I say that, or you go with Hayner
But
and
the-
or Rattler with the intention of dropping into the top 5 next year to try and make a play on Arch.
That's true. That's true. The way the board's falling, there could be a tackle for the Chiefs. It's like who's really going to take a tackle here? The Texans.
Pittsburgh won't. The Chargers absolutely don't need one. Green Bay are alright. Minnesota might.
No, but Minnesota have Darius, so they just brought in a bunch of guys for the line.
Yeah, Houston, maybe Baltimore, maybe.
I think if Matty Golden's there, yeah. Matty Golden's going to Houston.
Yeah, they've got Tank Dell coming back though. Plus Nico Collins. Plus Dalton Schultz, the tight end. I feel like Golden at Houston would be a luxury pick given the needs.
No, Golden got the Packers, to be fair. Wouldn't surprise me.
Denver ran the clock pretty much dry, but they've picked. I wonder if Denver were trying to get a trade. Atlanta might be the same.
I think they're looking at the board and they're like, who's going to take a running back at this point? Who do you reckon would go down? Like maybe the Lions for Jahad Campbell.
Yeah, the Lions could come up for a pass rusher, but the price needs to be right.
The Bills could come up for a corner, you know.
I don't see the Bills coming up at all. I think they'll just let whatever falls.
Or the picks in. There is absolutely no way they take Travion Henderson over Omarion Hampton.
It depends. I mean, Sean Payton's one of those guys when he falls in, when he likes a player, they're getting picked.
What is happening in the Pittsburgh draft room, best you can tell us? Rich, all eyes are now on the Pittsburgh Steelers with Shedeur Sanders still out there. We know he had a good visit. We know he is now available. We do not know if the Steelers are going to pick him.
So if Aaron Rodgers doesn't go to the Steelers, yeah, he's surely retiring.
Yeah, 100%. I just don't see who else would even take him.
Well, the draft room is about to get the 20th overall selection. The Steelers are
The Saints.
90 now into their clock time for the 21st overall pick.
Saints can't afford him.
Selection that went to Seattle.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
They're waiting on Aaron Rodgers, but in the meantime, here comes the commissioner with a special guest to announce the Broncos selection.
April is World Wish Month, and the NFL is proud to support the life-changing wishes that Make-A-Wish grants. Yes. One of those wishes will be coming true right now. Sam is a 17-year-old Broncos fan who has bravely battled cancer. Little Sam, raise that fist up, baby. His wish is to announce the first-round draft pick for his favorite team. Please join me in cheering on him as his wish comes true.
I still haven't got mine, so just wait a second.
They've gone best available, I think.
With the 20th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Jahdae Barron, DVD, Texas.
Whoa. Wow.
I think
Ahead
they're
of
best available. But pairing him with Pat Surtain is interesting.
That's
They know they're taking on some high power offenses. They know they've got.
It will be good for him to be a number 2. It'll be really good for him to play as a number 2.
Yeah,
but Jade Barrett,
still going to be.
Wow.
He can cover tight ends, you can cover slot receivers, and then if you want to be a force player, which you have to be at that position in the NFL, this guy simply doesn't miss tackles. He is very tough and reliable. There he is against Abuka. We saw it just go off the board. They decided instead of offense, they were going to double down on a defense that is outstanding. And they added Hufunga in the offseason. They added Greenlaw. You've got Pat Surtain, the rated defensive player of the year.
Shedeur Sanders, Steelers. Is that going to happen?
The Broncos might defend the Chiefs this year. Zach Allen, Nick Benito, Dre Greenlaw, Pat Surtain, and now Jade Barrett. Ouch.
And the safety from the Niners, Hufunga.
Yeah. Annalisa Hufunga. Yeah, that's not great.
Did as good a job of anybody against Jeremiah Smith and Ohio State, and now with this defense, which was, I thought, a very good defense most of the season.
But Hampton's on the board. You see if I'm the Patriots or a running back needy team, I would, or even if I'm the Bears, I would call up and see what it takes to go up for Marion Hampton.
There's a running back needy team on the clock.
Who's running back in ECU?
Pittsburgh. LA, potentially. They've got Najee Harris.
No, but LA just brought in Najee Harris. Jahad Campbell's still on the board. You still have the 2 tackles.
It's not obviously not Green Bay, Minnesota, maybe Houston.
Matthew Golden's still there. Will Johnson's still there.
Pittsburgh could roll with dice.
Pittsburgh, I don't know if this is a live shot or not, but it does look like Shedeur is.
Jahad Campbell would be a very Pittsburgh pick, wouldn't it?
I think it's Shedeur, you know.
If it doesn't happen here, the only question is when does it happen tonight, if at all? And if it's not Shedeur, who could it be? I know they were really.
If it's not Sanders, then everybody's going to have to be starting to field calls.
Everybody's going to start calling the Vikings wanting to move up because the Chargers and Packers always want.
The team that's going to be in a very handy spot for picking up a QB right now could be the Rams. They could get their future QB tonight.
The Rams don't have a second round pick.
If the Rams fall to LA, if Sanders falls to LA, I think they shoot their shot. Still just the one trade, by the way. Hasn't been a trade since 2nd overall.
You're telling your fans you got a plan in place. Now look, I'm just telling you guys, if you went back and read my Kenny Pickett report, his strengths and weaknesses lined up with Shedeur's strengths and weaknesses
defensive
as a player.
tackle.
Whoa, shoot.
I don't know that they're going to do that again. What a monster moment this is. In the 2025 draft. We're not understating it. The mystery's about to end.
With the 21st pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Derek Harmon.
Oh.
It's a very Steelers pick, isn't it?
It is.
Get the big D tackle.
Had a chance to go see him live, and he's impressive.
Minnesota are surely having the calls flood in.
Constantly, you see his quickness. He was at Michigan State, transferred to Oregon. He identified Oregon as not only the school.
Rams are sitting there just going, we've got a choice of what we want to do.
And that's what he did for Oregon.
If the Browns were smart, they should have taken Hunter and then traded up for Sanders and teamed them back up.
I mean, that requires a crystal ball, I'm afraid.
No, but look at how the board's fallen. It wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, but they're now in a position where they can trade into position to get one of the QBs next year.
not go quarterback, and it does not appear they.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers to the Steelers.
Draft to trade back into the first round.
Surely.
Tomorrow, but for the moment, we move on to the 22nd overall pick with the Chargers, and then the hometown Packers after that.
The Chargers on the board. Who's left?
Sky, you've got the best seat in the house to enjoy Sky Sports and Sky
Who's left that the Chargers might want to take? Golden potentially.
Will Johnson.
Yeah, definitely possible. Jihad Campbell still sat there.
It's more exclusive live sport than anywhere else. Sky Sports.
They might let Joey Bosa go. Jihad Campbell could be a pick here.
Blockbusters with Sky Cinema.
Or Mike Green, maybe.
Sky, believe in better.
Mike Green, Will Johnson. One of them guys.
What's that?
Then the Packers will go with Matthew Golden.
Now, brought back to life. Every battle, every front, full restored. World War II, seen like never before. This is the sound and the fury available from the 5th of May on Sky History. Extreme weather is only getting worse. What help me? I don't chase anyone. You can't do this without you. Tyler Owens calls himself a tornado ring. If you feel it,
I still can't go over that Broncos pick. Jahdae Barron.
Look at, you just got to look at the traffic they have to deal with in the division. You got to deal with Rock Bowers, Jacoby Myers, all the various receivers that the Chargers are going to throw at you. Travis Kelce, Xavier Worthy.
This feels quite rich.
Rashee Rice is coming back from injury, so yeah,
That's true, actually.
You do need another elite corner on the other side across from Pat Sertan.
Excuse me.
We've got Nick saying the Bills will trade out the first round and Kansas City take a wide receiver.
Who's saying that?
That would be Nick.
Wow. No way. No, I couldn't see it.
The only way we would go wide receiver, I think, is if Golden is still on the board.
The
Yeah.
WSL is in full swing, with the games coming thick and fast. Come join us live on Sky Sports.
And if Will Johnson is still sat there at 31, I think that could be an option.
I know. I think Will Johnson's a Charger. But the Chargers are still picking.
Yeah,
Jihad Campbell's still there as well.
They did lose Joey Bosa.
Excuse me.
What the hell is going on out there?
Or a seal here. Oh, man, what the hell is going on with that guy on the right? I don't know what's happening there. I mean, there's the gimp. Is that the Chargers gimp? I don't know. But the Charger faithful.
The Browns have the top pick at round 2, so I think they'll take Sanders.
We might trade up with Buffalo. We're getting into that stage where somebody might come back up to make sure that they get their guy.
You know we're getting into the meat and bones of the draft when I start to get tired.
Yeah, it's one of those where it's just like you're starting to get to that point where it gets less expensive to make the trade.
Yeah.
So right now, if you're coming up from 34, 35, you're maybe going to have to give away next year's.
Surely the Vikings are getting calls just now.
I'd imagine so. I imagine the Packers are probably taking calls as well. But the Chargers are certainly trying to trade this pick right now. This is not a.
I think they are actually.
This is not a. This doesn't feel like a. We can't decide who we want. This feels like another. We're still on the phone trying to shift this pick.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Will Johnson or Jihad Campbell.
Yeah, I think that's probably between those two.
First of all, as far as the Chargers go, they are receiving incoming calls about teams potentially trying to trade them. We'll see.
Yeah, they're receiving calls about trade-ups.
There were injury concerns throughout this process. But I understand we had a knee situation.
You know what this could be?
What?
Detroit. Imagine if Detroit came up and got Jihad Campbell right now.
That would be crazy. There's no way the league would let that happen.
Campbell's fallen into range of Detroit. If they can get the right package to Los Angeles, I think they could make that move. But the Chargers are going to have to make a pick here. You've got less than a minute.
There'll be teams wanting Will Johnson. There'll be teams wanting the tackles. Sanders. Hampton's still on the board. Yeah, I don't think the Chargers expected the board to fall like this.
I don't think they're going to. I think they might run out of time here.
What happens if they run out of time?
The Packers can jump in. So once the Chargers run out of time, they can turn their pick in at any time. But if the Packers come onto the clock as well, and there it is. Clock's expired.
Or is it expired?
Yeah, clock's expired. The Packers can now make their pick at any time. Nope, Chargers have made a selection.
It's not just Michigan guys. It's all the people that they coached on the staff, guys who know players. They don't mind bringing in those guys.
The Chargers have taken this down to the final seconds, and that didn't look like a phone call.
I think they wanted to trade out.
Yeah.
I think they were basically like, oh shit, like all the guys we evaluated aren't here.
This could be Evan Murray.
Could be Will Johnson or Campbell, I think.
I'm currently looking at the best available, and it could be any of them.
Yeah.
Is Iraku still out there?
Is Iraku?
Yeah, is Iraku still out there?
I can see it. Surely the Vikings will move out. They have 4 picks the entire draft. Like, Chargers are taking their time now.
Well, they've made the pick. They're just taking their time announcing it.
Chargers pick is, to me, it's fascinating because of all the areas they could go. We've seen this a couple of times. Colts, they had a pick of the litter. Falcons, pick of the litter where they needed players. And I feel like that's a similar situation with the Chargers right here. And with all those needs, all those options, does it not come back to who do we like best on our board? Does it not come down to best player available with Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh? That's what Joe feels like. That's how Joe was trained involved. That's what it feels like here. You got a lot of places to go. Who do we have top of our board? That's what they go get. Here comes the commissioner with the pick, and after this, there's only 10
Oh, okay.
Meaning only 10 more draft picks with a 5th year of contractual.
Sorry. I think mine's just 40 seconds behind.
Let's go ahead and reload it.
22nd pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Los Angeles Chargers select Omarion Hampton, running back, North Carolina.
All right, so the Tar Heels.
Wow. Jim Harbaugh is going to want to pound the football. That's all I'm saying. They're going to.
Yeah, they're going to be a run first team. But to be fair, when you've got an offensive line as good as theirs, you understand it. Rashawn Slater, Joel, Zion Johnson, all still on rookie contracts. It's an offensive line you're making.
In the pass game, they've got two backs now with him and Najee Harris that can catch the ball. He's just got
The Packers up next. This could be a Matthew Golden team, you know.
This is another team I think that's going to look to move.
Punishing runners. And Joel, you know very, very well. You know Harbaugh, what he likes to do. That line has been built up all last year. Mekhi Becton into free agency this year. Now you had this runner. It is the blueprint he used at San Diego.
It's interesting.
And Stanford and Michigan. It's going to be the same blueprint, guys. You know, and listen, this is a back that is versatile. He's a workhorse player. He had 25 touches in 8 different
Packers are still. I think the Packers. Yeah, you're right. I think the Packers will be taking calls.
I think you're going to see a lot of longer clocks here as teams are jostling for position.
If Starks goes to the Vikings at 24, the tackle goes to the Texans, yeah? You have Jahad Campbell potentially going to the Lions without even having to trade up.
Yeah. If he gets
the Lions could have their pick of Mike Green, Will Johnson, or Jahad Campbell.
That's not terrifying at all, is it?
That's mental.
Drafting Green Bay, man, I'm so excited to see the Patriots. I can't wait to see them on Fox.
Wow. The Patriots are interested in trading up for Golden.
Yeah, I can see it that being. Yeah.
I'm just seeing the stuff come up now. But to be fair, Twitter is a wild place around draft season, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be surprised the Patriots come up for Golden, the Giants come up for Sanders, maybe. But to be fair, would they really need to come up for Sanders, though?
No idea.
Oh, man. Less than 10 picks to go.
My goodness gracious. By the way, I was asked before this draft, how many people are going to show up to this thing? The answer, all of them.
The Packers are probably on the phone just now looking for trades.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a corner needy team, trade up. If I'm surprised the Bills haven't moved up for Will Johnson yet. You know. Jalen Milroe is still there, by the way. I feel like the fact he's a 10. Don't be shocked if he goes to the Rams. That's all I'm saying.
Hashtag quit.
So we're waiting to hear on all this. Just one more reminder again. There are 10 more first-round picks, which means there are 10 more picks that have a fifth year of contractual control associated with it. And that's important to know.
Yeah, the Packers are looking for trades.
Yeah, I think you're getting to the point though where you stop trying to thrash out a trade deal and start thinking about who you're going to pick.
I mean, they got to take Matthew Golden, though.
I mean, they went tackle last year. They picked up Xavier McKinney, who had an all-pro year.
Jordan Morgan last year.
Yeah. Unless they like Will Johnson, I think we're looking to come. Looks like a pick has been made. Judging by the war room.
theme of this draft so far. You've got Jacksonville gets Travis Hunter, a weapon out on the outside. You've got Drake May, what is H pursuit? Let's protect him. You go.
Oh man.
This is an opportunity to tell Jordan Love, hey, we think you can go beat Minnesota. We think you can go beat Detroit. And again, I love the idea of them going offense right now. They've tied for the third most drops.
Matthew, it's got to be Matthew Golden. It has to be.
I understand that. Maybe I'm just biased for the moment right here with these, multiple 100,000 people behind me. But Jordan Love in this division is going to need to score points. As of right now, so they're playing against. We did see
Has the pick been made on your screen yet?
Block's been turned off, so yeah, I think so. Pick is in.
Yeah, it's been made. It's been made.
Pick is in.
Yeah, my prediction for this would be Matthew Golden.
I struggle to see what else it could be. Unless they're going to rest Campbell's slide.
Yeah, Jihad Campbell's still sliding. This could be a Will Johnson team. It's the same.
Yeah.
Oh, just speed up. Stop with all the chatter. I just want to hear the pick.
Here comes some people.
No spoiling. I love the suspense, Malachi Starks.
Okay, Green Bay, it's your time. To make this historic pick, please give it up for first team All-Pro, Pro Bowler, two-time Super Bowl champion, and Packers President and CEO, Mark Murphy.
Too much talking.
Thank you, Roger. How about this atmosphere? Isn't it unbelievable? Roger, thank you and the NFL for bringing the draft here to Green Bay for the best draft in the history of the NFL. Right here. On behalf of the Packers, Packer fans here in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and everywhere, because our fans are everywhere, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the NFL draft at Lambeau
Stop
Field.
talking. I just want to know the pick.
I still don't have it.
Oh, you still don't have it?
No, it's still waffling.
Since we are the only community-owned team in the NFL.
I know it.
Just out of curiosity, how many of you are owners? Yes. We also have the best owners in the NFL. And we also want to celebrate the special connection we have with our fans that dates back to the early days of professional football. With the 25th
Surprise?
in the 2025 NFL Draft, the 13-time world champion Green Bay Packers, for the first time since 2000.
Just announce the pick, man.
Listen to this crowd. Oh, baby.
Yeah, Matthew Golden. It was a logical pick.
Yeah. It's one of those. I was looking at. You look at what else high end is available at the minute, and then you look at the Packers roster, and you're just like, it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Like, they've got a good defense. They didn't specifically need to go down a Will Johnson or a Jihad Campbell route, but they did. They
It's
needed
just the
somebody to
fact
throw
they're
the ball
both still
to.
on the board.
They needed a top end receiver because they've got Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs and Dontavius Wicks, and these guys are good in spots.
They're not consistent enough.
But they've not none of them have elevated themselves to being a number one guy, and Golden might be the one that could do that.
It's an interesting pick, but if you're the Vikings, would you really want to move knowing you have a choice of Will Johnson or Jihad Campbell? You know, but they're probably taking a lot of calls just now.
I think they need the depth from extra picks. You could also put another tackle opposite Darisaw.
Opposite who?
You could put another tackle opposite Christian Darisaw on the other side.
If they do that, that is not going to work out in your favour at all, because there'll be because it could be Simmons and Connerly, and then you'll be left with who? Ursery.
At that point, I think we would then go internal. We could go DT, but then the guys that might have been left on the board, guys like Grant, guys like Morgan, they're gone.
Now here is a first-round draft choice, and a member of the Green Bay Packers announced and introduced here in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Yeah, this is someone who ran 4.29, but not just a speed receiver.
That's what the Packers need at the end of the day, you know.
Watch him when he gets to the top of the separation, the big time juice and burst he shows out of the break point.
A good weapon for Jordan Love as well, you know.
With this crowd here, the ball skills again, underthrown ball, able to get back to it, the adjustment ability again, not just a speed receiver. This guy's
These draft pundits are absolutely violating Quinn Ewers, by the way. Underthrown balls. I mean, like, surely. They said like 4 times.
There's a reason why when the college season was starting out, Quinn Ewers was projected a top 5 pick, and now he's projected as a 5th round pick. There is a reason for that.
No, but I swear he could have been drafted last year in the higher rounds.
Yeah, but he wasn't, and then he had a bad senior year.
When their season was on the line against Arizona State, it's 4th down, or everything matters. 4th and 13. Where does Quinn Ewers go with the rock to save their season? This guy. And I want to get back very quickly. Joel brought this up. In this division, to keep up.
Who's the other player from Texas?
I love this. They're literally about to interview the Green Bay draft pick, and the crowd are booing because it's just come up saying on this big screen Minnesota on the clock.
Who's the other Texas receiver? Bond. No, Isaiah Bond.
Yeah.
He's not a first round projection, is he? No.
Nah, he's going round 3, I think. Something like that. Late day 2, early day 3 pick, I think.
I'm seeing this interview, by the way.
You get to make a lot of decisions now about your life, but one of which it sounds like you want to do something really special for your family. What is that now that you get to play in the NFL?
Man, I want to get back to my grandma. You know, we lost our property a couple years ago, and I just want to get back to my family, man. You know, they did so much for me.
Vikes have made a quick pick.
All I can do is get back.
They have?
It's got to be Campbell, isn't it?
Congratulations.
Ooh, Eagles are trying to trade up.
Houston are surely going to just snap Simmons straight up here, aren't they?
Oh, I shouldn't have checked. I just checked Instagram again. Fuck's sakes. I mean, at the end of the day, it works out in your favour.
time because he was born a year after Javon Walker was taken first. That's all round by the pack.
The Rich Eisen show bringing people together.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just telling you. It was a neat moment right there.
That's not
Yeah, I
good
know.
enough.
Here's a
It-
buzzkill for
No, he's a guard. Are you seeing Donovan Jackson?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a guard.
It's not a tackle.
Which means Simmons will go to the Texans, and I think Connerly is a Chief.
I'm starting to think, what if Campbell drops to us?
No, he's not. He's not getting past the Commanders.
So Donovan Jackson is going to Minnesota. Daniel?
Yeah, Minnesota continues to invest in this offensive line. He started out at left guard initially for Ohio State, but due to injury to Josh Simmons, he had to kick out and play.
Giants have traded up.
His zone, but his
Have they?
is going
Giants on the clock.
at guard. That's where he plays best. That's where
Okay, I'm so wish this wasn't behind you now.
Houston just traded back.
He plays with outstanding temperament and motor. I love that about him. He's athletic enough.
So either the Giants have come up for a left tackle or the Giants have come up for Sanders, which leaves us with a fairly clear run to Simmons.
Who beat him twice? JJ McCarthy. Look who's on the clock, guys.
And
Sanders.
he's got to be loving how this is playing out.
Could this be Sanders? Wow. Which means you probably have a choice between Josh Simmons and Josh Connerly.
Get 50% more cleaning performance. Save water, energy, and time.
So we're waiting for the Giants to make their move.
Archer pressure washers.
Round one snap grade from the Athletic.
Surely this is Sanders.
Right. Snap grading from the Athletic. On the top 20 picks. Cam Ward B+. Travis Hunter A. Abdul Carter A. Will Campbell A. Mason Graham A. Ashley Gentry A. Mambu B. Ted McMillan B+. Banks gets a C. Loveland gets an A. Michael Williams A. Booker B+. Kenneth Grant B. Tyler Warren A. A+ for Jalen Belichick. Nolan gets a B-. Stewart's a C. Both A+. And Booker gets a C- for the Bucks.
Because there was no need to take Ibuka. Knowing Campbell was on the board.
Yeah, they're talking about defensive needs.
Do you reckon they've traded up for Will Johnson?
Them?
Do you reckon the Giants have traded up for Campbell or Will Johnson? Or not Campbell, actually.
Why would they take Campbell? Because they've just taken Carter.
No, I didn't think about that. But like
Johnson's a possibility. A quarterback's a possibility.
So at the end of the day, Russell Wilson is only on a 1-year deal. You know.
A tackle might not be out of the question here. Derek Harmon's an A.
I mean, they have Andrew Thomas on the left. A tackle could be a shout, to be fair. Like Josh Simmons, maybe.
It's in.
Okay, I'm still on as, so don't spoil.
Could it be out? Could it be the safety Emma Worry?
Starks. No, but the Giants just paid Javon Holland.
Giants to pick up 25. They have sent to Houston number 34, number 99, and a 2026 third.
I'm excited for this because this could really go anyway.
2 picks tomorrow night. They still have a third round draft choice. That's the compensatory pick they sent to Houston for tomorrow night. And a third round pick next year to trade up and take.
Luther Burden's still on the board as well.
Shador is smiling.
Burden's not going tonight.
Question is if he's letting that be his umbrella or is he a New York Giant? Daniel Jeremiah, you said it was going to be a trade-up for Jackson Dart last night. Is that what you think?
I felt like that was their preference with the quarterbacks, was Jackson Dart, and they have done a ton of work on him and know him extremely well. I just thought he's a little more physical of a quarterback when you think about the division and where they play. I think that looks to be more like a Jackson Dart fit with the New York Giants. I thought they might be a little more aggressive and be worried about Pittsburgh. It's a poker game, right? They called the bluff. Pittsburgh did not take a quarterback, and now they were patient. That was not a steep price they had to pay to potentially go up and play the quarterback after already getting a premier player.
Have they announced your pick yet?
Not yet.
25, there's only 22.
Got notifications in my PS5. I was about to go into rest mode, so.
There's only 22 slots away.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the Giants.
Evan Wardy possible here.
Like at this point in time.
No way I'm in Warriors.
Torpedoes for it right now, and I know it's not that expensive when you think about it, but they had to do something. And if they come away with a quarterback in Abdul Carter, that's what we call a big W for the Big Blue, right? You would think. Certainly, again, if
Campbell, Will Johnson, Mike Green still on the board. Starks is still on the board.
and they still have a third round selection tomorrow night, and they got 2 vets.
Picks about to be announced.
I'm nervous. I don't even know why I'm nervous, because like the Giants aren't even in the AFC, but it's just such a big.
Jackson Dart. Shador is much more pro-ready than Jackson Dart. However, the Giants don't need ready. You know, they probably are looking at upside over near-term playability right now. At the same time as we're waiting for this, the Rams just traded out, and Atlanta traded a 1 in next year's draft.
Ooh, okay.
The Falcons have moved up.
Falcons have come up.
I just heard it.
That's got to be Campbell, isn't it?
Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. Jackson Dart. Ahead of Sanders. Wow. Yeah, Atlanta has just come up.
That can't. They've just taken Walker. There's no, it's Campbell. Is it?
No, that's got to be Campbell or Johnson.
Johnson could be the shout here, yeah.
Broadway to be the Giants quarterback at some point.
But this is starting to look quite good for Brett Beach and the Chiefs.
I was away to say you're probably bouncing just now.
Well, Houston traded themselves out of the way. Detroit's not going to go. Detroit's not going to go.
Jackson Dart ahead of Shador.
Baltimore's probably not going to go O-line. So we just need to fade Atlanta and Washington. And then we'll get our hands on Sidon. We'll just end up taking a D tackle now anyway.
And he was effective as a runner, no doubt, for Lane Kiffin in that offense. And Charles, I think there's something to the fact
Atlanta literally just gave up next year's first.
Well, it's straight up traded it.
Yeah.
Straight swap there for next year for the.
It'll probably pop up in a second.
The Rams do not like first round picks.
We got another quarterback out of there. But guess what, folks? It all started with Charlie Connerly out of Ole Miss.
Wow.
Guess who won the Connerly Award last year?
Shador Sanders is probably like, what the fuck?
This kid is schooled in it, understands it. He's got to deal with it going to New York. I think he's in a great situation where he doesn't have to start right away, as you said, Joel. Yeah, Kurt, I know that you like Jackson Dart. I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on his game. Well, I tell you what, guys, I think this is so much about style. Now, he's not Josh Allen, but we think about...
Surely the Falcons are going with Jahad Campbell here.
But they just took on Jalen Walker. You think they can maybe take a second pass rusher? Oh my god, I've just realised something. Even if Atlanta does pick Jihad Campbell, Detroit could still land Mike Green.
Or Will Johnson.
Oh god. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Jackson Dart ahead of Shadur Sanders.
That does seem kind of crazy to me. Atlanta have picked as well. 22. Oh no, it's not. Atlanta received 26 and a third this year. They traded down at the third. Wow, Rams got their second as well. So the full compensation here, Atlanta receives at 26 and 101. The Chargers get Atlanta's first rounder next year, their second round, Atlanta's second rounder this year, and a 7.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
That's a lot for presumably Jihad Campbell.
Overall.
Out of Florida State. So smoke them if you got them right now in Los Angeles. They're not going to pick until kind of the middle of the second night of the draft. They have 2 3s, a 4, 4 6s, and a 7, and a first rounder next year. Atlanta,
wow.
A lot of capital for this pick here.
Oh wow.
I'm interested.
Oh.
Los Angeles Rams have traded the 26th pick to the Atlanta Falcons. With the 26th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select James Pierce Jr.
Whoa.
Defensive end, Tennessee.
That's a lot to give up for a player like that.
What the fuck?
This is a very Atlanta pick.
That is wow. That you're right. That is a lot to give up for.
You know, I'm getting a little bit shades of Vic Beasley. Might be capable of having a good year, but I just don't see him putting it all together.
It's the fact that Jihad Campbell
and they've picked him over better players.
And it's the fact that Jihad Campbell's way to fall to the Ravens.
That's terrifying. And of course, Detroit can still scoop up Mike Green if they want him.
Yeah.
I wonder if it is the character issues that are costing him right now.
I think they were just surprised Jalen Walker was there. They couldn't pass him up. But hey, why not go back and get another one? I think it was
Then Baltimore could also reload at cornerback with picking up Johnson.
Now that you picked up Jalen Walker, is Leonard Floyd now in Atlanta?
That is a lot to give up.
Now you can have a plan for him. Jeff Ulbrich could say, I can DPR him, designated pass.
Oh, okay.
And work him in as he gets bigger and stronger.
The rap sheet saying apparently Atlanta nearly took Pierce at 15.
Oh wow.
It's a good pick for them.
The Ravens halfway through their pick as we send things to Ian.
Rich, DJ's right. The Falcons came this close to picking James Pierce at number 15 overall. They have, in fact, done extensive homework on his character, trying to understand the immaturity. They talked to basically everyone he knows. They met with him and his mom yesterday, doing late homework on Pierce, believe in the culture that Raheem Morris has created. Rich,
James Pierce ahead of Will Johnson.
And Jihad Campbell.
That's crazy.
It's not a great time.
But involving 2 first-round picks in next year's draft, unbelievable, in the trades tonight. Can't make it up. Ravens, Lions, Commanders, Bills coming up.
Go Vols.
A 2026 first is a lot. Jackson Dart over Sanders. That is like, what a middle finger to Shadur Sanders, honestly.
To be fair, where Sanders have ever played for the Giants.
Oh man, I'm knackered.
Yeah, let's get some grades for these latest picks.
Malachi Starks is going to go to the Eagles, and we're going to be wondering by the end of the year, how do we let that happen? This is interesting. To be fair, it's a good draft for the Giants. Abdul Carter and Jackson Dart.
And of course, Dart gets to throw to Malik Neighbors as well.
Like they'll play Russ this year, and then next year it'll be Dart.
Yeah, Dart's got a chance to sit and learn for a year,
which I think he needs.
The problem that you've got is that Dable has shown tethered themselves to this pick now, and they won't get to see it fail.
My concern is whether if Brian Dable gets fired next year.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Is it just like if the coach and GM get the sack at the end of the season, then you're then stuck in a situation where you've got a first round quarterback that the coaching staff and GM did not draft, who's never played a snap.
Yeah.
If you're down at the top, if you're down in the front end of the draft again, picking the top 3 again, do you just pick your own guy?
It reminds me of that Justin Fields situation when Matt Eberflus drafted Justin Fields as kind of like a desperation move. It was basically it wasn't Matt Eberflus. It was Matt Nagy, and he basically drafted Justin Fields as a final desperation move to try and save his job.
Got a year and then they fired him and then brought in Eberflus and then replaced Fields with Williams and then fired Eberflus mid-season.
If the Chiefs have a good year this year, I wouldn't be surprised if Matt Nagy gets a head coaching job.
Doesn't seem to be working for Steve Spagnuolo. No matter what
Surprised
he does, he seems to be overlooked.
And there is Mr. DaCosta. Is that Steve Bisciotti's back?
The Ravens pick is in.
The head coach on the phone.
No shortage of options.
Huh?
No shortage of options here.
But it makes all the sense in the world because it allows you
Jihad Campbell, surely. There is no way.
I'm not going to put this cop on him as a player because he's not. But body type wise, he looks just like Henry. I mean, he just the way he's put together, how fluid. Just like that, you didn't put that on. I'm not saying he's Henry. I'm saying he looks like him, but I'm saying the things he does well. No, the Baltimore Ravens really appreciate. I'm so glad you said that because high safety is how.
That is not what I expected from that.
Another one.
You'll like this.
So we'll see what happens.
With the 27th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Malachi Starks.
Ooh, Starks.
Detroit might have just landed Jihad Campbell without moving an inch.
That's ridiculous. That has to be one of the quickest picks they're putting in. That's interesting. Like they have Kyle Hamilton, but is that really a need? Not a safety.
I think so. I think it is actually something they did need to improve.
You talk to folks in Georgia, they talk about the leadership he has got big time character, excellent communicator, and excellent leader. Here he is down the field, locating.
What's the time just now? 4 in the morning. That's commitment for the NFL draft. That's what that is. If Josh Simmons somehow falls to the Chiefs, you know.
Watch him fill the alley close and get guys on the ground. You can blitz him, which you know Baltimore is going to cut everybody loose in that defense, Joel. What I love is he is such a smart player. Day one, he started for Kirby Smart.
The Bills could land Will Johnson.
He has been
Was
not
it?
only a player for
The Bills could land Will Johnson.
Potentially.
What I look at what he can do, you look at the versatility throughout the secondary. Yes, he can go be on top of the Christmas tree, but you can also start moving him around because he is confident enough in his football IQ where you've got a versatile piece in that secondary to do a lot of things with. Two things. Number one, when you play on any team,
I think Baltimore in a great situation for Starks, though.
used to specialize in. Kirby Smart was a secondary player in college.
Surely this has got to be a quick pick for the Lions. Oh, so that's a long hug for Roger Goodell. Just saying.
Yeah.
Defensive side of the ball, and last year, guys, it was not good enough. This was the 31st pass defense in the league. They were 25th in pressure rate.
Depends how. I mean, there's talk about Camel maybe being an off-ball linebacker. So I'm wondering if Detroit are maybe considering a true edge rusher here.
Mike Green.
Or what the hell was his name? The other boy.
Ezraku.
That's the one.
There's no way Jihad Campbell falls to the second round. That would be crazy. No, you know why? He'll end up on the Eagles.
Yeah. Seems about right.
And we'll be like, how did the Eagles get away with this?
If the Chiefs can run away with Simmons and the Eagles get away with Campbell, then every other team in the league needs to look at itself and go, how did we manage that?
Yeah. The Bills could land Will Johnson.
Imagine that.
That is not how I had this falling.
No.
So all you're worried about Cleveland, is there someone else out there that you have to worry about? It would have to be Pittsburgh or maybe New Orleans trying to jump back and get back. Yeah, I don't know. I'm old enough to remember.
The other thing is, not one of these teams needs a QB worth a damn at all. So Cleveland could still manage to get Shedeur Sanders.
Which is crazy.
They could pick up Mason Graham, Shedeur Sanders, and Jacksonville's first rounder for next year, which would be unbelievably Cleveland probably winning the first round.
Which everybody says is a deeper quarterback draft than the one this year. And another team that might need a quarterback for the future with their quarterback.
Yeah, how's that? So round 2, you've got Cleveland, Houston, Tennessee. Cleveland have 33 and 35.
Yeah.
Wow, they could be sneaky.
Just got my first hug of the night from one of the draft prospects. You just hugged Roger Goodell for the longest time. What was the meaning behind
I'm wondering if somehow Cleveland might wind up winning this draft.
And they'll still find a way to fuck it up.
Chicago got a pair of seconds as well.
They're basically back to back as well.
Yeah. Either side of New Orleans taking Jalen over.
Wow. I should not have checked Twitter.
What's happening on Twitter?
Wow. The Lions pick. That is not what you'll expect, I'll say that.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Guarantee you've never even heard his name.
I guess you can take
Huh?
safety off the board for the Ravens.
Is this going to be the Lions of old where they just take a random?
Yeah. Have we really just let... Oh my god, there's no way.
Campbell to Washington.
Yeah, there's no way we've just let that happen. Because I'll spoil it, it's not Will Campbell. Or Jihad Campbell, sorry.
Oh, okay.
But knowing the Lions, But knowing the Lions, they'll find a way to make it work.
Always has a big influence there, but Chris always managed to stay out of
This is a reach.
running that team and running it so well as a GM.
With the
I
20.
had him
Him
graded mid.
over Jahad Campbell.
I had Tyreek Williams graded as mid second.
Tyreek
So this was a
Williams.
reach.
Tackle, Ohio State.
It does fill a need, but I just, with all the edge rushers available, I don't understand why you do this now.
I know.
Plays with a lot of upper torque. You see him press out blocks. He can hold that point of attack really, really easily. Just a big, strong, powerful guy at 334 pounds. He's going to free up everybody else to rush on third down because of what he does on first and second down against the run. Just eat up a lot of space. You see these little clinches.
Surely, like, Jahad Campbell's got to go to the Commanders. Because would the Chiefs start considering Campbell if he falls?
No, we just re-signed Nick Bolton. Although admittedly Nick Bolton's a middle linebacker, but we've already got big money committed in that spot. You've got Leo Chenal, Andrew Tranquil under contract as well. So
George Karlaftis as well.
Karlaftis is an end rather than a linebacker, but yeah, we've got Chris Jones is still in there. We've still got our 2020, still got a 2023 first rounder. And DK Uzoma still got to break out yet. I don't see us taking Jihad Cameron, especially with Justin Simmons. Almost.
Wait, who?
Now Simmons almost certainly being sat there waiting for us. We're going to take the left tackle that we need.
Surely. But the thing is it Conley or is it Simmons?
I think Simmons is a better prospect.
No, but there's the injury concern on Simmons. They are there, so.
Get that Euro Millions feeling with this Friday.
We're going to get one of them, that's for sure. I don't see Buffalo in tackles, not with Johnson available. I think Campbell actually fits what Buffalo do as well. Washington are trying to trade this pick.
Do you reckon they're trying to trade out?
Well, we've only got about 2.5 minutes left.
Over time, it just was so strong.
I could see it.
Human-sized magnet, probably about 100 of them. No matter what I tried to list it, I just couldn't. I knew I needed to reach out.
What I want to see right now, because it would annoy the fuck out of Nick, would be New Orleans to come up right now and take the trade.
I could see it. Oh, me.
Car insurance sorted. Dave, just use Confused. Just use Confused.com.
The best players know when shots are worth taking.
We're at that point in the draft where he just wanted to end.
So play like a pro with Betfair's handy safe gambling tools, designed to help you bet at your best. Betfair, play different.
£5. Cheeseburger or man chicken. Right, 4 chicken McNuggets and a drink. It's all £5.
Tell them what's lying to them. They ain't doing it. So, who are you? I am Felicity Price. I'm figuring out how to finally start enjoying this journey. Something is wrong. Tell me.
Oh, me.
What do you reckon then?
Sure, but thing is, they have Bobby Wagner. The Commanders do. However, he's only got 1 or 2 years left max.
Yeah, I was going
So
to say Wagner's very much in veteran status right now.
Well, the Washington Commanders are.
Campbell, Johnson,
As we look at the green room built by, there are 4
Campbell, Johnson, Simmons, and then I don't know.
it looks like
You know who could be a big winner here actually would be Houston.
and Shador Sanders
Like move up.
enjoying his time.
No, they've traded down to 33 and they still might end up with Connerly.
Comes and trades in the last 3 picks with Buffalo, Chiefs, or Eagles. We will be
Sneaky.
looking at him at his party tomorrow night as
So
well.
Houston trade down, get some more picks, and probably the tackle.
I mean, good on. I mean, good on that GM for having the vision to do that.
Nick Casero's always got the tendency to do a deal. He averages about 3 trades a draft.
Yeah.
If you're going second overall, you draft yourself a unicorn and make sure that you're not picking until the last half hour of the next draft.
You're doing something right. You talk about being ahead of schedule. With what they did last year, obviously, Jake Daniels unbelievable. The culture with Adam Peters.
It's not Simmons, it's Connerly.
This team,
Huh?
they're just ahead of schedule. You look at what they inherited. The previous first
You'll
round
play
picks,
that in a sec.
Jamie
Oh, God.
None of those guys are there anymore. Then they started
Are you trying to tell me Jahad Campbell's still on the board?
Tunsil and Deebo Samuel, and now
With the 29th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft,
He's going to go fucking Philadelphia. Isn't he?
Josh Connerly, Jr.
What?
Tackle, Oregon.
What?
How about that? They doubled up on tackles.
What the fuck?
You get a player as special as Jake Daniels, Adam Peters is going to
Wow.
just to make sure that he's protected.
Wouldn't this be such a Bills thing for the Texans to trade up and get Josh Simmons?
If Buffalo trade this pick to Houston, I'm going to be fuming.
I could so see it. Honestly, that would be so funny.
To be fair though, if Buffalo are going to trade it to anybody, it's going to be Kansas City. It's just what these teams do.
Ahead of Jahad Campbell, though. Like,
They trade us pick. We trade them picks. They trade us stars. This is how it works.
Another example here of him just staying
To be fair though, that 2017 2017 trade kind of worked for everybody.
yeah.
We went up and got Patrick Mahomes. They got Tre'Davious White, and then used the first round of the following year to package it up to go and get Josh Allen.
that's right. Where's the patch on it? Player, right? But Travis Hunter is the only two-way player in the first round. Huh?
Mike Green is still on the board. Will Johnson's still on the board.
Cleveland, with those 2 picks in the top 4 in the second round, could get some serious talent. With
Luther Burden's still on the board.
I mean,
Luther Burden, Evan Warry.
at this rate, they could pick up Sanders and then Vivian Henderson potentially.
Can the Bills please trade? The Bills trade to Houston, please. Imagine that.
If Simmons is still on the board when it comes to us, I'm sure Brett Veach is just going to pick up the phone and just be like, "We'll take Simmons, please." That'll be it.
What are you doing if the Bills take Simmons?
I'll be disappointed, but it's
No, but it's like what player would the Chiefs have to bounce for
Green
at that
maybe.
point?
Campbell, Green, possibly Henderson.
Well, here's a team that knows who they have to get past as well because they've had trouble getting past them in the playoffs, not so much in the regular season. Of course, I'm referring to the
They
Bills
seem satisfied.
choosing right now, and then there are the Chiefs, the team I'm also referring
Oh, I
to.
forgot about that. Bills probably won't take Campbell because they signed Bosa.
Eagles. Real quick before
Yeah, but Bosa's not a long term.
potential trades.
This is surely got to be Will Johnson here.
Well, it's not a trade. The Bills have picked.
Josh Simmons, Ohio State. No, surely it's got to be Will Johnson here. If Will Johnson falls to round 2, the Raiders and the Titans will be bouncing. because Shador will surely go top of round 2. And then
I
you've
think
got Houston.
surely Cleveland pounds on Shador Sanders at the top of the second round.
Then you've got Houston, who will take Arsery.
Mm-hmm.
Then you still got Birdie and Campbell.
Tennessee then go edge. Tennessee will then take one of the remaining pass rushers for sure. Cleveland will then either take one of the pass rushers.
If Mike Green's still there.
Yeah. Cleveland could get another pass rusher in there.
Luther Burden's still there. I know he has maturity concerns, but he's still a really fine player.
And that's where I think the Raiders could go.
If Will Johnson's there, yeah, surely.
There's enough edge, tackle. There's not enough defensive linemen that you can take here. The problem is they've been run through in this draft. There's not really, those top end guys. You're taking production here, maybe like a Mike Green from Marshall. He led the country as Zaraku to Ted Hendricks. Donovan Zaraku, he had 16 and a half sacks for Boston College. That would be interesting to me, just to put a number on it. They were 21st in the league in playing cover one and playing man coverage. So if they want to play, they got to play more. They got to pump that up. And remember, they swung and missed.
Just waiting for this pick.
Well, to be exact, Daniel, there's been one cornerback taken in this draft.
It's another special guest.
Does this mean they're going to be waffling shite?
Well, I don't think so. It's a kid in a wheelchair, man. Yeah, it's gonna make a wish kid, man.
It hasn't popped up. Oh, it's just popped up for me just now.
So here comes the commissioner with the Bills pick and another special guest with him. The Chiefs are on the clock right now, and we're about to hear the Bills selection here in Green Bay.
The NFL is stepping up to have an even greater impact as a wish maker for Make-A-Wish. For the second time tonight, we have the opportunity to grant a wish for a deserving young man to announce the first pick for his favorite team. Tommy. Tommy is a 16-year-old living with a neuromuscular disorder. He's a huge Buffalo Bills fan, and he's here with me to make the announcement for his beloved Bills.
Oh, you're not going to like this. You are not going to like this.
Let's go, Buffalo! With the 30th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Maxwell Harrison. Let's go!
What the fuck?
Said you weren't going to like it.
Will Johnson's actually falling.
Yeah.
I understand he has injury concerns, but Max...
Oh! The Chiefs and the Eagles have swapped picks.
Imagine the Eagles take John Simmons.
The Eagles have... So either Johnson or Campbell will be on the board tomorrow.
Kansas City is the final trade partner for anybody who wants to hop into the first round and choose somebody.
I think the Patriots are a bit too far behind to get one of those premier guys.
Depends if you want to go up.
This is a defense that was 29th in third down defense last year. Maxwell Harrison's going to help that number jump way up.
The key third down of the season got him on that mesh play in the playoffs at Mahomes.
No question. And he's someone who, to your point, Charles, is a man corner. We've seen him do it. He can line up. He can take away guys who can run with his speed. And he's
Wow.
for his size.
Who are the Eagles coming up for then, do you think?
With the different types of wideouts you see within that division, think about all the different guys you go up against. But his 4.2 speed is legit. If he had the year
Johnson.
after last year's
Simmons.
Simmons, maybe. Yeah, possible.
the shoulder injury was out.
Somebody that they think the Chiefs want. Or they thought the Chiefs were going to trade out the first round and potentially hand somebody else off. So anyway, the Eagles are about to get
combine.
That's steel.
Those Eagles picking.
This year's fastest
Tyler on the court now.
who I would imagine would be marking Xavier Worthy in future games against this year.
It will be a great race as you watch him here. The burst, look at how fast and explosive he is. He can put it on cruise control on the way to the end zone. He gets himself in a bad position, not a problem. I can recover. That's Bond he's going up against, who we know he can really run. That was no issue. Bob ran something before to recover there. The big year in
I don't see why the Eagles would take Will Johnson, though, having just taken Quinion Mitchell and Cooper DeJean last year.
Yeah, but they just lost Darius Slay.
That was the result of the shoulder. I'm not worried about that.
And they lost Isaiah Rodgers, who was their fourth corner last year, to the Vikings as well. So it wouldn't surprise me. And Darius Slay would kind of fit their scheme.
Maxwell, you have hugged every single prospect that has been called before you tonight. Now it is your moment. How does it feel to trade Kentucky Blue in for Buffalo Blue?
Man, this is I can't also thank you. I'm so blessed, man. I'm so happy to hear my name called.
So the Eagles go up one spot and we pick up a 5th round pick.
You love them so much that you are
That's not bad, to be fair. Oh well, I've just seen who they picked, and the league is just going to be shocked how they got away with it.
It's just how Campbell, isn't it?
Yeah. To be fair, it was expected.
Well, Harrison, so the 164th overall pick that belonged to Philadelphia now belongs to Kansas City. The Eagles just made the pick as they coughed up the Buck 64th overall pick to go select. So handshakes.
To be fair, picking up a 5th rounder here is a good idea for us because we didn't have anything between 4 and 7.
How the fuck did they just get Jahad Campbell? The league is just letting them get away with it again.
Thanks for spoiling the pick, mate.
Yeah, I told you. Oh, I told you before.
Forming the United States of Birmingham.
Is that a sausage in a cocktail? I've got to unite all 17 Birminghams in the US. And the one in Canada we don't talk about. I'll come bearing the hat of friendship. This Birmingham's a front runner for one of the best. I'm Joe from Birmingham.
Birmingham?
This is the main tourist attraction. It's got 5 stars on Google Maps. All right, man. Here we are in Birmingham. Nonsense, not the war.
Joe Lycett, United States of Birmingham. New episode every Tuesday on Sky Max. Sky, you've got the best seat in
Of course, the other factor to this trade here is that we'll get our first rounder slightly cheaper.
Yeah, that's true.
Transform and roll out.
This is amazing.
Fantastic. Experience more exclusive live sport than anywhere else. Sky Sports. As well as more of the latest blockbusters
Oh, man.
of Sky Cinema.
Go, honey.
Sky, believe in better.
Marking 80 years since the end of World War II. History
What are we thinking for second round then? Sanders,
now. Back to life.
Sanders, Bird, and Will Johnson still there.
Johnson possibly to Houston, Sanders to Cleveland straight off the rip. Tennessee take one of the remaining edge rushers, whether it's Green or
Ezra
Ezra Rocky. Why do I keep forgetting his name?
Ariante Earth is still there.
Cleveland might then go for Emin Worry.
Emin Mori, actually, that's true.
Burden drops to Vegas.
Bird into Vegas, I can see it.
Perhaps maybe go Henderson.
Ooh.
Although Chicago,
Maybe.
although I think Chicago, if they can pick up Henderson, become bona fide contenders in the NFC.
But it's the Bears. It's like, you see that Super Bowl hype on the Jets 2 years ago. I was like, nah, I'm not buying into that. Because it's the Jets.
So, my gosh, there's an Alabama player on the board in the front seven with a
Oh, me.
12th overall pick grade. And Howie Roseman's on the clock. This doesn't happen every year. I told you I don't make the rules, Rich. I don't make the rules. I just know that the universe forces this every year where Alabama or Georgia have an elite player who some miraculous reason falls down into the Eagles' lap.
But this time they made a move they made one spot. Didn't they do the same thing for Jalen Carter? Just gotta go like one or two spots and go get the guy they want.
Nolan Smith fell to him, and
Nolan Smith, they
Look at this collection, and this is the reason why they won the Super Bowl.
But
I know Saquon is Saquon, but look at this.
Remember when Jalen Carter fell in the first round and Philadelphia just, okay, one or two moves were there. Take him. Once he got in the range,
Oh, me.
it's like Obi-Wan Roseman. These are not the picks you're looking for.
Almost there, buddy.
Reigning Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett. Forgot he was on the Eagles last year.
Yeah.
Sitting on the clock for tomorrow night. So, which means Shedeur Sanders will be a second out of the first round.
Can I read you guys something? Well, first off, go ahead. After the selection, I need to get this in.
There wasn't as much trades as what I thought there would be. It's like Twitter was going. It's like Twitter was going absolutely crazy, saying, "Oh, it's going to be absolutely mental."
And yet there was no trade between 2 and 24? 25?
Yeah, between.
2
Oh
and
no,
25.
actually, yeah. Apart from, from like 3 till 25, there was nothing.
Yeah. Only 4 in the end. And one of them was just Philadelphia coming up one spot.
Speaking of Obi-Wan down here, our lead draft expert, Daniel Jeremiah, writes in his mock draft at 32. Remember, they moved to 31, Philadelphia. The rules are simple with the Eagles. They take the best Alabama or Georgia player who falls into their lap. Campbell's my number 12 player in the draft, so he'd be a tremendous value at the end of round 1. If not for the shoulder surgery he's recovering from, he'd be a lock to go much higher. Daniel Jeremiah prior to the draft.
Nostra Jeremiah.
Did it again.
Jihad Campbell. How did we let Howie away with this?
You were right all along when you were saying Howie Roseman was going to steal one.
He was going to steal one of them.
To be fair, though, he didn't really steal anything. That was a gift.
Surely Josh Simmons for the Chiefs. Surely.
What I'd like to see happen, but who knows. To be fair, I trust Brett Veach. He'll make the right decision. He doesn't miss.
Is this what it's like for you every year, staying up till 10, 20 to 5?
No, I tend
to watch the Chiefs fit.
I tend to pick it up in the morning. I have, a wife to try and make this up to.
Speed and range that he had, as well as someone if you want him to.
It's like last year, I only stayed up till pick 15.
Yeah, last year I just picked up in the morning, just saw it was picked and went, okay.
When he hits the go button, he can fly. You see it here on the delayed blitz. Here he is coming off of the edge. Now look, he's going to need to add some more polish as a rusher, but with his athleticism, speed, and his ability to bend, I think there's
No, actually, I take it back. I had it on live audio last year because I was actually going to work when the Chiefs were picking last year.
Front seven for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I'm just reminded, like, in the modern day defense, guys, you've got to have versatile hybrid players, and how many edge players are we?
Have the Chiefs picture.
Started with Abdul Carter.
Yeah.
He's got an on-ball background. He's got an on-the-ball background. These guys need to be able to do everything because offenses are going to get in 11 personnel or 12 personnel and they can everything out of those single personnel groups. And so you've got to be a hybrid player. You're going to be on the field first, second, and third down.
Rich, here's how badly Eagles general manager Howie Roseman wanted Jihad Campbell. When the Chargers were on the clock at 22, he was working the phones trying to get a trade. They thought they had a trade, thought it was
Chiefs getting booed worse than the Vikings for being on the clock.
At
24. Now get Campbell at 31. So he was targeting him, and then they just didn't have to move up too far. All they did was give a 5th round pickup, and Kansas City didn't have a 5th round pick. Now they do, and they're about to make their pick right here. And we're about to meet Jihad Campbell on the stage with our friend Jamie Erdahl. Jamie.
I didn't even have to ask the question. You're already saying it's a surreal moment.
Oh, mate.
Nothing would be possible, without the Most High, you know what I'm saying, and my family, my friends, and just everybody supporting me, just paving the way for me and mentoring me and guiding me, throughout my whole journey. So shout out to everybody back at home, man. I'm coming back home. Philly, y'all know what's up. We got to turn up. We got to get lit. We got to win another Super Bowl next year, man. It's on.
Never give up the microphone unless you're diving into a draft pick that's going to a Super Bowl champion. What was it like to receive that phone call from a general manager that constructs a championship roster?
Man, it was just a real feeling, just getting that call, just being here, and, just having the opportunity, maximizing my opportunities when I was younger.
I need to stop.
So I'm just extremely grateful, and I'm honored.
And you have a future in television when you're done playing. Congratulations.
Damn right.
Sign him up from Camden County in New Jersey. He is going to be playing just down the turnpike and across the bridge in Philadelphia. And now we're going to get the final pick of the first round. It is from the Kansas City Chiefs.
Surely. Arthur Simmons. Thing is, the Simmons is just the.
Commission to the podium. You'll know what it'll do by my reaction, I think.
Well, to me, you look at the tight end and Mason Taylor, who's out there.
Once I know what it is, I'm just going to end the stream, to be honest with you. Simmons.
So I also think I've thought about.
Yeah, it's Simmons.
Fair play. Fair play. Josh Simmons.
We managed to move down and get the offensive tackle I wanted all along.
The one thing with Simmons is just the injury concern.
Fine. We've got. He'll be worth it once he's back. I think.
Josh Simmons from the Ohio State. And that doesn't have to change color scheme very much. He's going to Kansas City to protect.
Wow, that's the draft.
Yep.
That is the draft. Wow. You know what? Most of those picks I kind of expected, but there were a couple of surprising ones. It's like the first 7, you could kind of tell what order they were going to go in.
Yeah.
But especially like the Rams absolutely fleeced the Falcons, by the way.
Yeah, 100%.
Like and
next year, when you look at what the Giants gave up to go to 25, and then what Atlanta paid to go to 26. Now I know Atlanta had to come further up, out of round 2, but the Giants spent a second, a third, and I think a 6th to get up to 25, and the Falcons paid a first and second, got a third, and gave away a 6th. You can't do that. You're supposed to be trying to build a roster for Michael Penix to win with, but you gave away next year's first rounder for 2 pass rushers.
They're still paying Kirk Cousins as well.
Yeah.
Which is just even crazier.
Yeah, that pick doesn't work for me at all. They gave up too much to do it.
At the end of the day, it just summarises the Falcons, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
anyway, I think it might be time for some sleep.
Yeah, I was waiting to say, well, that was the draft. Thank you for coming on.
No problem.
Honestly, 4:45 in the morning and we're still going strong, but it's all good.
Strong is a relative term.
Yeah, well, you know what? You got Josh Simmons in the end, so that's what matters, you know. But yeah, that is the stream. Thank you. That is a 4-hour stream. To be fair, I didn't think it would take that long, but all good. Anyway, I'm going to go get some sleep because I'm exhausted. The Patriots picked about 3 hours ago, so And
Yeah.
after the Patriots picked, I was like, but we got there, so it's all good. Will Johnson still on the board. Shadur Sanders still on the board. Luther Burden's on the board as well.
Yeah, there's plenty of talent still there at the top of the second round, so it could be quite
It's just
interesting to
not.
see the early part of tomorrow.
Yeah, it's just interesting knowing the Browns could have had Shadur and Hunter.
And yet, at this point, they could still get. They could still come away with Graham and Sanders and another very competitive piece
Burden, yeah.
at the top of the second. Could come away with Burden, could come away with Henderson. Chicago could pick up a tight end and a running back, and that offense is going to be terrifying if they can pull that off. So lots to look forward to in round
But
2,
yeah,
I think.
it's major shake-up. I don't know what time the draft is on tomorrow, but I'm not going to live stream it, but I'll be tuning in for sure.
Slightly early.
Or I'll at least watch the first 10 picks. And then by that point, the well-known prospects are kind of off the board, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's all good. I will see you later. Thanks for coming on.
Not a problem. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.